A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
If you really want to know what happened, Inspector, ask Toby. Yes, Toby, who is only a ventriloquist dummy, but who knows more than you think. If you want to hang me, let him be a witness.
Out of this world. Columbia's parade of outstanding stories of those moments when reality turns to illusion, when fancy becomes fact, sharp, shocking fact. Tonight, a remarkable adventure from the successful English motion picture Dead of Night. A story which for the next half hour will take you out of this world.
Here now, enough of that noise. You're disturbing all the other prisoners.
God, tell me where's Toby? What have they done with my Toby?
So it's Toby again, is it? Now stop all that fuss about the dummy. I warned you before any more noise in that solitary confinement for you.
But I must see Toby. Oh, God, I'll pay you anything if you bring Toby to me.
You ventriloquist, a queer one. All this fuss about a talking doll.
He's not a talking doll. Don't you understand? He's Toby. Where is he? What's happened to him?
How should I know? Probably safe enough. The inspector will take care of him.
Well, you tell the inspector to send Toby back to me. Back to me, do you hear? Tell him I want Toby and I want him right now.
Sure. Inspector Dodds will be happy to do anything you say.
You're an impertinent fellow.
You're a rough one, all right. You're just lucky I ain't in here for murder. Lucky that fella Laswell you shot is coming along, all right.
Laswell? Whatever happens to him makes no difference to me. I wish he was dead. He tried to steal Toby from me.
Now, ain't that a pretty thing to say? Ain't you a
charge? I'm sorry I caused you any trouble. All I want is one favor. Please. Go to the inspector, go to somebody, go to anybody and tell them that I've got to see Toby. I've got to see Toby.
Inspector. He's raising a devil of a row down in the hills. Keeps yelling he wants his dummy brought back to him.
I see. Well, if letting Tompkins have the dummy will keep him quiet, perhaps we can arrange it.
Oh, good heavens, sir. Is that him there, in the chair?
Huh? Oh, yes, that's Toby.
How cool. Sits up in the chair real lifelike, don't he, Inspector? Amazing, ain't it?
It's fantastic that a man could be attached to such a thing.
Queer how Tompkins keeps saying, if you want to know why he shot Laswell, ask the dummy. He's an odd one, all right. Imagine asking anything from the likes of this. Such a blank, idiotic little face he's got. So you're Toby, are you? So it's you that's responsible for all the trouble I'm having with your master today. Poor Mr. Tompkins. If I wasn't a mild man, I'd change that smelly smirk on your face. I'd give you a real sad look, I would, with my...
All right, now hold on there. Do you think that stick of wood will answer you?
Eh? Oh.
You know very well only a ventriloquist can make a dummy talk.
No, sorry, sir. I guess I did look a bit foolish.
Yeah, so before we all do, we'd better get to the bottom of this. Guard, bring Tompkins up here. Time we had a little talk. Tompkins, if I promise that Toby will soon be returned to you, will you cooperate with me?
Toby? Is he here? Is he near me here?
Yes, but you can't see him
Oh,
yet.
but I must see him, Inspector.
You will, but not before I have certain facts.
Certain facts?
About your quarrel with Mel Laswell. Now, if you tell me the whole story, I may be able to help you.
Help me? Why? Why should the police help me?
Because it's part of my job.
Yes, but you've done your job. I've admitted I shot Laswell. I did it. What else matters?
Your motive.
He tried to steal Toby from me. Isn't that motive enough?
Tompkins, I really can't understand you.
Understand? Of course you can't understand. I wouldn't expect you to. You've never spent years, endless years, playing shoddy, cheap music halls, starving out at the elbow because you couldn't find a partner who understood you. You never toiled day and night for weeks on end, creating somebody like Toby who could go to the big time with you. Oh, Toby could tell you what it's been like, all right.
Unfortunately, Tompkins, Toby has shown no inclination to speak to me as yet.
Toby would appreciate that, thank you. Yes, indeed he would. Where is he? What have you done with him?
You'll see him soon enough, I promise you. But first, I want to know what makes you think Mel Laswell tried to steal Toby.
Oh, I was aware of Laswell's intentions right from the start, Inspector. Even before I met him. I had a premonition that somebody might separate me from Toby. I couldn't stand that. I was much to him as he to me.
I see, yes.
When I met Laswell at the club that night, I realized almost at once that he might be the one to cause the trouble. I suppose you've seen Laswell. You know the sort he is. Regular troublemaker.
Yes, Tompkins, I've seen him. Now come to the point.
Well, as I intimated before, Toby and I have been playing all the better music halls for the last few years. Top billing, you know. And then we got our engagement at the Kit Kat, West End nightclub. That's about as high as Toby and I, or any act for that matter, can go. He was standing backstage, waiting for the dance act to finish their turn. It's only a standard act, not particularly hard for us to follow. And then Bigelow, the master of ceremonies, came along.
Glad to see you ready to go, Tompkins. You're on as soon as they finish the waltz.
We know our act, Mr. Bigelow.
Well, just so you know yours as well.
Not Toby.
Well, I don't want him to forget to take the chair out tonight.
I have the chair right here. Now, don't worry. It won't happen like it did last night.
And do us the favor of getting off the floor when you've introduced us. You messed up the whole first part of our act standing behind us.
Here, now, don't say that. After all, it was your opening night, and how was I to know your act?
You did it deliberately. You were trying to cut in on our laughs.
Now, look here. I don't have to take this kind of stuff.
Toby, that was not at all professional. Mr. Bigelow, I apologize, since Toby doesn't seem to have the grace to do it.
Very well, I accept it. Huh? Well, well, now, what do you think of that? I was thinking you take me in, Tompkins. Deuce if I don't get to thinking that dummy is a living thing.
Bigelow is a terrible ass, isn't he, Tompkins?
By Jove, it's remarkable. Tremendously real, you know, the illusion.
Oh, rot.
Oh, by the way, you'll want to be particularly good this evening. You have a rival out there.
Who?
Laswell. Mel Laswell, the American. The ventriloquist from the States.
Laswell?
Oh, don't tell me you haven't heard him on the wireless. Here, look. Have a look. He's at the front table over to the left.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see him.
And who's the gorgeous young lady?
His wife. He's awfully good. World's greatest ventriloquist, I've heard say.
I like her.
Don't you recognize Presidentry, Bigelow? He may be the best, and again, he may not be the best.
And you're pretty jealous, aren't you, Tompkins?
I'm nothing of the sort.
In fact, you'll feel more uncomfortable than ever tonight working in front of a real artist.
Now, see here, Toby.
But as usual, I'll carry you along.
You'll carry me. I'll have you know I carry this out.
Please, both of you.
Stay out of this, fat mouth.
Now, see here, joke's a joke, but when you use... By George, you took me up the road again, Tompkins. I thought you and this wooden imp were rowing. As though he were human. Imagine me thinking he's actually human.
Stop blabbering, Rubber. Let's get out there and bring us on.
Yes, of course.
And don't forget the chair.
Oh, yeah, where is it? Oh, here it is. Look, I'm going to introduce Laswell before I bring you off.
Must you?
That's right. Give the boy and girl a great big hand. The finest dance team in all the United Kingdom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and visiting royalty, before I present to you our next little feature, I'd like to call on a distinguished variety artist who is here tonight. You've all heard him on the American wireless and seen him in the American cinema. Mel Laswell. I ask Mel Laswell to stand up and enjoy that well-known Kit Kat hospitality. I'm sure that beautiful woman he's with is a much happier burden on his knee than Mickey O'Toole, whom you've seen so many times. Stand up, Melvin Laswell! And now I want to bring on an act the like of which Mr. Laswell has never seen. Our own British ventriloquist, Eric Thompson, and his talking timber, Toby!
Good morning.
Hey, Tompkins, go easy on that morning stuff.
How come, Toby?
Well, that man over there looks like the truant officer.
Why, that shouldn't bother you, Toby. You've been a very good boy, haven't you?
Why, yes, but I'm out of school.
Out of school? Why?
Appendicitis.
Out of school because you have appendicitis?
No, not because I had it, but because I couldn't spell it.
Now, Toby, my lad, you better watch that appendix of yours. After all, people die of appendicitis, you know. And then you'd be a skeleton, and I'll bet you don't even know what a skeleton is.
Get a good grip on your nose, darling. That guy's got the worst material in the British Isles.
know what a
Please,
skeleton
now,
is?
act as though you're enjoying this. People are watching
Well,
you.
then, what is a skeleton?
A skeleton is a lot of bones with all the people scraped off.
You know, Toby, I saw a very strange thing the other day. Toby, are you listening to me? I said I saw a very strange thing the other day.
All right, you saw a very strange thing the other day.
I don't blame the dummy
Go
for being
on,
embarrassed.
my monster.
Now, here, Toby, that's not the proper attitude for a bright man like you. I said I saw a strange thing the other day. There were 12 men standing under one umbrella, and not one of them got wet.
And not one of them got wet. Now, I know the payoff to this gag, but I won't say it. And Mr. Laswell knows, too, don't you, Mr. Laswell?
What goes on here now?
Come now, Mr. Laswell, I know you do. You give the answer.
Toby, please.
Please, darling, this is embarrassing.
Well,
Say
Mr.
something.
Laswell,
If this guy keeps riding me, I will get into
this
his act.
dummy's dummy says that he saw 12 men under one umbrella and not one of them got wet. Why not, Mr. Laswell?
Because it wasn't raining.
Correct, because it wasn't raining. Now, you see, Tompkins, everybody knows your joke. I'm humiliated, actually humiliated to be up here with a third-rate ventriloquist like you.
Well, if you don't like your material, why don't you try rewriting it?
Rewrite it. Did you ever hear of anybody going into St. Paul's and offering to rewrite the Bible?
Then just what do you propose to do about it?
I'd go to work for Mr. Laswell in a minute if he'd have me. Melvin, may I work for you?
No, let's go.
Wait, Claudia.
May I, Mr. Laswell?
Well, I pay Mickey O'Toole 75 cents a week. He'll wind up in my fireplace if you'll work for 50.
I'd work for nothing. Just to hear that beautiful woman beside you.
Toby, that's the Lemperor wife.
I don't care. I mean it. Ladies and gentlemen, you think this is part of the act, but it isn't. I think that Mr. Laswell is the greatest ventriloquist in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't blame me for this. It's Laswell. He's speaking all this through Toby. He's trying to steal Toby away from me.
Mel, is that true? Do you have something to do with it?
Relax, honey. Get the rest of this routine.
I'm being quite sincere, Mr. Laswell. I'll work for you and you won't you save me a tuppence.
Mel, are you speaking through Toby?
Well, Mr. Laswell, will you take me on?
Watch him try to get out of this one, Claudia. I'm thinking about it, Toby.
Oh, Mel.
Toby, either you'll behave yourself or I'll take you off the floor.
That's right. Just when I'm about to get a good job, call the MC back, tell him you want to run away and hide. Come on out, Bigelow. Tompkins needs your help.
All right, just as you say, Tompkins. That's all, and thank you for this little impromptu surprise.
Oh, brother, it's about time the MC took
It's
over.
all part of the show, friends, all part of the
Let
show.
go of me, Bigelow.
I give him a nice hand here.
You the man for
That's how I knew, Inspector, that Laswell had taken more than casual notice of Toby. Oh, I could have forgiven him for his interference on the floor of the club. That might have been mere professional discourtesy. But there was something else in Laswell's attitude that made me fear the man. It was his personal interest in Toby. Oh, he wanted to separate us. I became certain of this later when he came back to my dressing room pretending friendliness.
Anyone in there?
Who is it?
No, Laswell, Tompkins.
Mr. Laswell. Well?
Oh, how do you do? You mind if we come in for a moment?
All right. Please do.
This is my wife, Mr. Tompkins.
Mrs. Laswell.
Mr. Tompkins?
Won't you sit down? Throw those dressing gowns on the floor.
Thank you.
Well, so this is your boy. Nice carving job.
I'm very handsome. Don't you think so, Mrs. Laswell?
Well, you certainly are, Toby.
Well, Tompkins, I've been curious to know who made him for you.
Don't put your hands on him.
Oh, well,
I prefer that you left Toby alone.
Well, certainly you needn't worry. I'm quite handy with dummies myself. You certainly surprised me with that little act out front.
Your own part in it surprised me, Mr. Laswell.
Oh, believe me, Tompkins, I never
You needn't
intended
expect
to.
anything.
You see, Mr. Laswell, Tompkins' attitude requires some sympathy. He's quite aware he's not our equal.
Keep quiet, Toby.
Tompkins, how far does this gag go?
That depends on you, Mr. Laswell, and on just why you came to my dressing room.
Oh, only professional courtesy.
If you've come to make some sort of a bargain for Toby, I am not going to permit it.
Now, wait, Mr. Tompkins.
I will not have it.
Yes, wait, Tompkins.
I will not permit it.
Whatever the Laswells have to say to me is my affair. You might even pretend you're a gentleman and make a graceful expert.
Toby, if you're trying to make me look ridiculous...
I'm succeeding. Yes, I know. Now go on over behind the screen and get your makeup off.
Very well, Toby, but I warn you...
Beat it. Pay no attention to him, Mrs. Laswell. I don't.
Well, I don't understand.
This fellow's amazing.
Not at all. He's stupid, really. Constantly interfering in my affairs. Mrs. Laswell, now that we're alone, may I tell you something? Something I'm sure you've heard before.
What is it, Toby?
That you're very beautiful. That I'm very fond of you, Mrs. Laswell.
Oh, now, look here.
And whatever Tompkins thinks, Mrs. Laswell, you're really a very nice woman.
Well, I'll be...
No, I don't like this.
Tompkins.
Yes?
Come out here.
Well, what is it?
How far do you want to carry a joke?
A joke?
Either you apologize to Mrs. Laswell right now...
Apologize? For what?
For the last crack you just made through Toby.
Did I?
Listen, you...
Really, Mr. Laswell, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mel, darling, let's get out of here.
You're not going to leave me, are you, Mr. Laswell? Please don't.
You're an awfully funny fellow, Tompkins.
Don't blame me for all this.
Take me with you, Mr. Laswell. I just want to be near her. If you're afraid I'll make love to her, you needn't worry. I wouldn't.
Tompkins, this is the most disgraceful demonstration I've ever heard.
What can I do about him?
Mel, please, come on.
I love her. I'll do anything if you'll just let me go with you, Mr. Laswell. Anything.
All right, Tompkins, you ask for it.
Oh, no, Mel, don't hit him. Don't hit him. Oh, Mel, why did you do it? The man's not natural.
Yeah, now, what's going on?
I don't know what's eating that fellow. Rib's a rib, but he doesn't know where to stop. I guess he got the last laugh on me, making me lose my temper.
Yes, well, he doesn't seem to be doing much laughing.
He's all right?
He's a bit done in. Can't say he didn't have it coming, though.
Oh, darling, I'm glad he didn't break the dummy when he fell.
Then you do care what happens to me. I love you, Mrs. Laswell.
So you see, Inspector, I should have known then that I couldn't prevent Laswell getting Toby. I knew they'd be plotting, the two of them.
I see. One question, Mr. Tompkins.
Yes.
Would you say that Mrs. Laswell is an exceptionally attractive woman?
To some men, perhaps.
And since we know that you think and speak through the dummy, isn't it just possible that you may yourself find Mrs. Laswell appealing?
Oh, what is this rubbish you're talking? Are you interested in learning the truth of what happened, or are you trying to muzzle me up?
I'd like to hear the matter out, Mr. Tompkins.
Sorry. As you well know, I was sacked by the Kit Kat on the spot. I hardly spoke to Toby all the way home. I wanted to impress upon him the misfortune he'd caused us. And at first I hoped that Toby's attentions to Mrs. Laswell had embarrassed them both so much that Laswell would no longer feel any interest in him. But in my heart I knew the Laswells hadn't finished, that at that very moment they must have been plotting. Plotting their next move to get Toby away from me. I'll tell you what that next move was. In our hotel, I carefully turned the key in the lock. Toby and I were secured for the night. I put him in his own little bed and then made ready for bed myself. As I moved around the room, his eyes followed me scornfully. Then I thought of the revolver in my bag. I took it out. With the revolver in my right hand and the key in my left, I lay down on the bed and waited. I dozed off. I don't know for how long. Then suddenly I was awake, my eyes staring. Toby was gone!
What is it?
Laswell, I want to talk to you.
No, be careful. It's Tompkins. The door isn't locked.
Where is Toby?
Get out, Tompkins.
I've come for Toby. Where is he? You've stolen Toby from me, and I want him back.
I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're referring to your dummy, I haven't seen him. Now, get out. Oh.
Mel.
What's wrong, dear?
On the floor. On the floor at the foot of my bed.
Toby. Toby, there you are. I found you. Oh, my poor little Toby, you've been kidnapped.
Look, Tompkins, I don't know how your dummy got here.
Toby. Toby, speak to me. Wake up, Toby.
Look, Mel, look. Look how he's shaking that awful thing as though he's trying to waken it.
Oh, you're not deceiving me, Toby. You know very well I'm here.
Go away and leave me alone. I'm through with you, Tompkins.
Oh, Toby.
Gasping.
Take it easy, Claudia. We've had all we can take of this, Tompkins.
Are you going to deny you stole Toby from me?
I certainly am. Look here, man. You're mad. You're ill.
Ill, am I? You took Toby from me and you say I'm ill?
I didn't take Toby. You brought the dummy here. You must have brought it here. Well, maybe while you were walking in your sleep, but you brought it here. I'm going to prove it.
Stay away from the phone.
Mel, he has a gun.
You can shoot if you like, but I'm going to prove to you that... Hello. Hello, give me the desk clerk, please.
Tompkins, I won't go with you. I'm going to stay with her forever. If Mr. Laswell will let me.
Clerk, this is Mr. Laswell in 722. I want to know if someone came to my room a few hours ago.
Is this some sort of trick?
A man came, you say, and he was carrying a ventriloquist dummy. You let him come up. Did you hear that, Tompkins?
I'm not deceived by this.
Will you describe the man for me, please?
No, you're a devil, Laswell. You stole Toby from me, now you're trying to drive me mad.
Well, here, take the phone.
No, I won't take it! You're tricking me again!
No, be careful.
Well, you won't succeed this time! No, I don't deny that I shot Laswell, Inspector, but I believe the provocation was ample. I dare say you will agree. After all, Laswell turned a friend against me. An old and a very valued friend. Whom I'm very much.
Tompkins, in due time, I may ask you to sign a formal confession on the basis of the story you've just told me.
No objection. I'll sign it. Oh, by the way, Inspector, I wonder if now you might let me see Toby again.
Well, I'd like to oblige you, but...
It's only for a short while, sir. See, I thought rather badly about not seeing him, especially after our trouble. And if you're given a little time together, perhaps Toby and I could straighten out our affairs.
Well, if you like, I think I can manage it. Perhaps have him brought down to your cell.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing Toby again. I am indeed.
And that's the story as Tompkins told it to me, Mr. Laswell.
It's incredible. I had some idea of what was going on in the fellow's mind, but that is...
Mel, I'm so sorry for him.
Just one question, Mr. Laswell. You'll pardon my asking.
Yes?
Did you have anything to do with what's happened to the Kit Kat? I mean, you didn't project your voice through Toby.
Certainly not.
So I thought. This business has me baffled. If I thought Tompkins might be more dangerous than he's already proved.
Well, I'm afraid there is that possibility, Inspector.
Huh?
It may be that Tompkins has become so accustomed to thinking as two persons that the personalities have actually become divided.
Is that possible?
For one man to have two separate and distinct personalities? Yes, that's not rare. Well, I'll admit I've never heard of anything exactly like this business.
What will happen to him, Mel?
It's a battle that Tompkins will have to fight out within himself. As long as he's in that cell without the dummy, he may learn to think for himself as himself again.
Good heavens, man. Look here, I permitted that dummy to be taken to the Tompkins in his cell.
You what?
Tompkins was so keen on having the dummy with him
Mel,
that
do you think that will harm him?
Well, I don't know, but...
Inspector,
All right, here I am.
It's that Tompkins, sir. Carrying on something awful in this cell.
What's happened?
We put the big doll in with him, like you said, sir, and right off he began arguing with it, carrying on a fight, real lifelike. It's just like two people what hate each other.
Laswell, you were right. Come on, we'd better get to them before it's too late.
Well, all I can say is I knew you'd wind up this way sometime. Put away for keeps, a jailbird.
Oh, Toby, I can't stand you having to talk to me that way. How can you be so ungrateful? I made you everything you are.
Ha! You made me, did you? You were the smallest of the small till I teamed with you.
Have you forgotten that once you were an empty, lifeless stick of wood?
Oh, come off it, Tompkins. You're a regular slush pot of sentimentality.
Please be a little kind to me.
Get away from me. I can't stand the beggar. Why should I have anything to do with you? You've never done anything right. You couldn't even kill Lazarus.
Shut up, Toby. Shut up. Don't torture me.
I wish you had killed him, and his wife would belong to me. I could be with her forever.
Oh, you fool. Don't you know that's impossible?
You're just saying that you're jealous because I love her.
Oh, no, I can't stand it. You're a monster. I've got to get rid of you. I've got to kill you, destroy you.
Tompkins, take your hands off me. I'm through with you. Take your hands off.
No. Kill you, you vulgar little swine. Faithful little swine. You beast. Dirty beast, you darn. Now talk back to me, you little monster. Now tell me I failed at everything. I've smashed your face.
You can't kill me, Tompkins. No matter how you try, you can't kill me.
Come on! Toby, what have I done? Toby, I never meant.
Down this way.
There we are.
Nell, he smashed the dummy.
Steady, Claudia.
Oh, it isn't real. It can't be.
We didn't reach him in time.
He seems to have fainted.
I guess we better see what we can do for the poor devil.
He made a pile of kindling out of his dummy, didn't he?
Oh, Nell, what'll it do to him when he sees what he's done to Toby?
How is he, Inspector?
He's coming around all right. Tompkins, come out of it, fellow. Everything's going to be all right.
He's reviving. He's opening his eyes.
Come on now, I'll help you sit up. There's a fellow. There, feeling a little better now, aren't we?
Mr. Todd, he's looking around for the dummy.
Here we are, Tompkins. I guess this is what you're looking for. Your tummy's broken up a bit, but he'll be all right.
He said he'd kill me, but I told him he couldn't. I killed him. Isn't that wonderful, Mrs. Laswell? Tompkins is dead. Now we can be together forever, the three of us. You want me, don't you, Mrs. Laswell? You've got to want me because I think you're beautiful. And I love you, and I'll be your slave always and always.
For the past 30 minutes, CBS has presented Out of This World, bringing you Charles Gussman's adaptation of the motion picture Dead of Night. Barry Kroger was featured as Tompkins and Art Carney as Toby. Original music by Albert Berman. Out of This World is directed by John Mosman for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Time to escape into the world of adventure. Time to forget for the next half hour the four walls of today and escape beyond the horizons of the mind to yesterday and tomorrow. CBS and its affiliated stations present Escape. Tonight we escape with Rudyard Kipling and the two gentle scoundrels he created in his immortal story, The Man Who Would Be King. The time, sometime before yesterday. The place, the north of India. The man who tells the story, Rudyard Kipling.
One Saturday night, it was my unpleasant duty to put the paper to bed alone. It was a pitchy black night, as stifling as night can be in India in June. It was very still, save for the ticking of the clock above my desk, which seemed to shatter the black heat of the night as the hands crept toward 3 a.m. And then from the passage outside my door, I heard voices.
Your light burning. And it must be here. Open the door.
Who's there?
Only us.
Who are you?
He don't remember us, Dan.
That he don't.
How could he forget having us turned back at the Jodhpur border? Told the authorities we was impersonating newspaper reporters, he did.
Wait. That flaming red beard and that bald head. Why, you're Daniel Dravett and Peachy Carnahan.
The same.
Well, what do you want? If it's money, I haven't any. If it's a fight, it's simply too beastly hot.
You can rest yourself easy, sir, because we've come asking for naught except some information.
We've been all over this country, and we've concluded that India isn't big enough for such as Daniel and me.
So we're going away to be kings.
Kings in our own divine right.
What?
Aye, we shall be kings.
We've signed a solemn contract, each to help the other, and neither of us to take a look at liquor or women until we become kings.
Why, I've never heard of such a fantastic idea. But what is it you want of me?
Naught but to look at such maps of Kafiristan as you might have about.
Maps of Kafiristan?
That's where we've decided to go.
But don't you realize that not one single Englishman has ever gone into the Kafiristan mountains and lived to come out again? If you're really mad enough to go there, you're a good deal more likely to become dead men than kings.
We shall see.
Anyway, I don't believe you have the slightest intention of traveling a mile outside of Delhi.
Then you should come down to the Sire marketplace in the morning, down where the caravans leave for the north.
Yes, come down to the Sire in the morning and see then if we be liars. Oh, thieves, robbers, liars, the blessing of Pierre Khan upon all pigs, dogs, and perjurers. Who will take the
You should not laugh at him, Sahib. The witless are under the protection of Allah.
Quite so, boy. Who is the fellow anyway?
A mad priest, Sahib, who has arrived only this morning from Ajmer.
Ah, yes, Sahib. Come to look at my camels, loaded with toys to please the eye of an Amir.
Oh, here now. Go about your business. I haven't any use for toys.
These are wondrous toys indeed, Sahib. Fit for a king of Kafiristan.
What? Good Lord. Daniel Dravett.
Sahib, come along. I've 2 camels just beyond the wall here. The blessings of Pir Khan on the gracious Sahib, who consents to look at the poor toys of a priest from Ajmer. Over this way.
Where's Carnahan?
Here we are. Permit me to present my servant, Hazir Mir Khan.
At your service, goodman.
Well, I'll be...
Did you like our disguises? Do they pass?
If they fool this crowd in the Serai, they're probably good enough to get you across the border and good enough to get you killed.
Getting killed is no part of the contract Peachy and me drawed up. Although perhaps killing fits in with our plans in a different sense. Feel around underneath the toys there in the camel bags.
What?
Go ahead.
Good Lord. Rifles.
20 brand new martinis with ammunition to match.
And 20 good reasons to make your death certain. Any Pathan of the hill tribes would kill his own mother to get a rifle.
Now who would harm a poor mad priest, Sahib? Allah protects me.
Mad is right.
Then so was Lord Clive and Rhodes and Bonaparte. Drive out the camels, Peachy. We've a long way to go before we become kings. Hey,
As I stood and listened to the camel bells fade away in the distance, I wondered if it might not be a glorious thing to go to Kafiristan and be a king. 3 years pass in India much as they pass in any other land. It grows hot, then the rains come, and then the heat again. Some colonel at a hill station puts down an uprising. A new viceroy comes out from London, and the paper duly records the death of a sultan in Rajputana, and the trees in the courtyard grow a few feet taller. Finally, time in its circle turned up another night, much like the one 3 years before. Once again I sat alone in the office, listening to the clock and waiting for some unimportant item to come over the wire from Europe. It was long after midnight when my office door slowly opened. I say, look here, you might knock first, you know.
No.
Good Lord, man. What's wrong?
You don't know who I am, do you?
No, I haven't the faintest idea. But here, you'd better sit down, old fellow. You're in a bad way.
Yes, thank you. It's a whole year I've been walking. Right here in this very office we settled it. You sitting right there and giving us the maps. You've been sitting there ever since. 3 years.
No. Oh, no. Why, a man couldn't change that much in 3 years. You're not Peachy Carnahan.
Yes. I was king of Kafiristan. Me and Daniel Dravit. Real crown kings we was. Just as true as gospel.
What in the name of heaven have they done to you, Peachy?
Peachy? I knew Peachy Carnahan once. He's a king. Wears a real golden crown on his head. So help me, he does. He's dead now, though.
No. You're Peachy Carnahan. You must pull yourself together, man.
Yes. Pull myself. You've got to keep looking into my eyes. Then maybe everything will go to pieces.
All right. Now, tell me what happened, Peachy.
We left the caravan at Jagdala. We struck off into the hills alone.
Go on.
Weeks it was we travelled, Daniel and me. First there wasn't no roads, and after a while, no food. But there was always the drums. Sometimes they was close, and sometimes farther off. But most of the time we could hear them somewhere.
Well, up! Move along, up! Here now. It's no place to be stopping. Up with you.
I'm fearing it's no use, Daniel.
What's got into them?
The poor beasts are done in and starved, same as ourselves. They'll go no further.
Then we'll go on without them. I've not come this far to die on the side of a mountain.
Wait. Look, Daniel. Over the edge of the rocks.
What? Oh, men they are.
There'll be a score or more of them. One goes ahead of the rest.
And naught but bows and arrows. Break out a pair of the rifles, Peachy.
Right you are, Daniel.
It's now that we start to become kings.
Here, and some cartridges too.
Easy now, Peachy. I'll drop the straggler at the rear first, and then we'll lay a few at their feet. Now arm to the one in front. We may need him. Now. Got him by the old neck. Lay on, Peachy.
Hold it, Daniel. Look at them.
Aye, flat on their blooming faces.
The leader is come out alone.
Well and good, and we'll go part way to meet him, Peachy. But keep your rifle by.
Look at him, Daniel. He be as fair as us, with yellow hair.
So he does. Part of the lost tribes, these people are.
He stopped.
Are you awake, your command?
By the Lord Harry, Peachy, we're in luck. It's the old Afghan tongue he speaks. Speak up! Who are you, and whence do you come?
I am High Priest, and the chief of the village of Bashkai. A journey of only a few heartbeats.
This Bashkai, how many people?
They are numbered in the thousands.
There are more villages in the hills?
More than a man has fingers and toes.
Hear that, Peachy? Here's our kingdom made to order. And you're going to take us to Bashkai. Do you understand?
I understand the voice of thunder that you speak.
Oh, he's a smooth one, Peachy. He knows a thing or two. What's your name?
Mazur Khan Jagbalur.
That's too long. What shall we call him, Peachy?
He has a look about him of an old soldiering friend of ours. Billy Fish.
So he does. We bestow a new name on you. From now on, you will be Billy Fish.
As you command, I obey.
All right. Put this on your drums. Tell them 2 kings have come out from the mountaintops. 2 kings that speak in words of thunder so the earth trembles. Tell them 2 kings have come to Kafiristan. That you, Peachy?
Daniel, why be you sitting here in the dark?
I've been thinking. A man has to stop and think sometimes.
About anything special, Daniel?
Look at 'em, Peachy. Look at their blinking campfires a gleaming in the dark like the jewels in a crown.
Aye, Daniel. You've done a fine job for sure. All 23 villages you joined together as one.
'Tis the army you trained to be thanked for it. 2,000 men with a fair knowledge of bearing arms.
Some's a bit green at it yet.
They're ours now, every man, jack, woman, and child. We own 'em, body and soul.
Aye, we're kings now, Daniel. Not proper kings yet, but we will be.
Sooner than you think, Peachy.
How's that?
Billy Fish told me something today that fair amazed me. These people know the craft.
You mean they're Freemasons, Daniel? It ain't no wise possible.
So help me, it's gospel true. He give me the grip and everything. It's old, the craft is, older than the memory of man. And up here in the hills, they've been preserving it all these years. Why, some of the high priests know up through the fellowcraft, but they don't know the 3rd degree. See it, Peachy? They don't know the 3rd degree, but we do.
Daniel, what is it you're fixing to do?
We're going to be proper kings. We're going to get 'em going and coming now. I'm going to turn the whole country into one grand lodge, raise some of the priests to 3rd degree, and for me, I'll be the Grand Master of Kafiristan.
Oh, but you ain't got the right to. We never been officers in no lodge.
Right? What's a king got to do with asking for a right?
Oh, I'm against it, Daniel. It's no good to go fooling around with the craft.
Ah, you talk like an old woman. The thing'll work, I know it will. We'll make it a blooming ceremony. Regular aprons with the symbol and the marks. All of us, Peachy. The kings of Kafiristan.
Everything is prepared, Master. And the priests and the people wait.
Well, they don't have to wait much longer, Billy. Here now, Peachy. How do you like my apron?
It's a wondrous sight for there, Daniel.
Made of white ermine skin it is, and the master's mark with emeralds studded.
The mark? You know the meaning of the mark?
That I do. What's got into you, Billy?
Not. But 'tis a thing that's passing strange, Master.
Strange and rubbish. Come along now. Ready, Peachy?
Right with you, Daniel.
Then out we go. Onto the temple steps. We'll give 'em what for. Knock their blinking eyes out. That's what we'll do. Look at 'em, Peachy. Right down on their blooming knees and yelling their full heads off.
Oh, did I put things to be a king, Daniel?
Behold! The mark!
To the side!
The promised ones have come!
Here now. What's wrong with the priest, Billy?
It looks like trouble, Daniel.
No. Stand where you are, Master. They recognize the mark.
That great stone in the floor. Why do they turn it over?
Wait.
sword! Speak up, Billy Fish. What's the meaning of it?
See for yourself. Look.
Daniel, carved on the back of the stone.
It is the master's mark, all right.
And the same as the sign you wear. Only a few of the priests have known of the hidden mark on the stone.
What does it mean?
The many who have doubted you were a god doubt no longer.
And you, Billy? What do you think?
I, Master? I think that now it is the time for these.
Daniel, golden crowns.
Aye, how they glitter. Fit for the brow of a king.
'Tis what we came for.
Here now, put 'em on. We'll crown ourselves in our own right. Listen to 'em. You know something, Peachy? We come here to be kings, and that we are, all right. But blamed if we ain't a couple of blooming gods to boot, with 1,000,000 people bowing on their knees before us.
Well enough, Peachy. So it was gods you became as well as kings. But then, what happened? What became of Daniel Draft?
Dravet. I knew Daniel Dravet once. He's a king now, Daniel is. Wears a golden crown. Carnan was with him.
Peachy, try to pull yourself together.
I'll try.
Now, you became kings, you and Daniel. Kings of all Kafiristan.
He was a fine figure, Daniel was, with his red head wearing that golden crown. Kept himself aloof from the people, so to speak. And when he walked before the temple, the fair crawled on their stomachs to worship him.
But what happened, man?
Happened? Well, I figure mostly it was winter coming on. The winds were starting up, and the clouds was blowing down from the north. Oh, it could blow beastly cold, that winter wind.
Hey? Who's out there? That you, Billy? Confound it anyway. Here now. What's this?
I brought you food, Master. Stew of the wild sheep with curry and rice.
Up off your knees, girl. Bring it inside.
Thank you, Master.
Place it there. Now, you're a well-favored wench.
I do not understand.
Why were you crawling on your knees?
It is a fitting way to approach the god of Kafiristan.
What's your name, girl?
Maruma Benja.
Marum, eh? You married?
It has not yet been my happy fortune, Master.
Are you afraid of me?
You are a god.
I mean, how do I seem to you? Do you find me pleasing or what?
Your face is more wondrous than the noonday sun. And your look, the look of eagles.
Very well, you may leave now.
Thank you, Master.
Marum, eh? Peachy! Peachy!
Is you calling me, Daniel? Oh, the food's here, eh? Good.
Knock that wind outside. Winter's about due to strike and fill the trails with snow. There'll be little moving about before spring.
Right you are.
Peachy, I've decided to take a wife.
But you can't do it, Daniel. We made a contract.
That was till we was kings. Well, kings we've been many months now.
Oh, but it's no good. I tell you now, I'm against it.
Against it? You was against using the craft, too. But look what it done for us.
Oh, but this is different. Billy Fish will tell you no, too, the same as I do.
Billy Fish, huh? Who's the king here, him or me? My mind's made up. 3 days from now, I shall have me a wife. and you can put it on the drums and tell every blighter out there in the hills. The kingdom of Kafiristan is going to have a queen. What's keeping her, Peachy? They should have brought her in here half an hour ago.
I don't know, Daniel.
How about you, Billy Fish? You put 'em up to stalling off deliberate like?
Certain preparations must be made, Master.
She's across the court with some of the priests. Maybe they're trying to hearten her up a bit, Daniel. She thinks she's going to die, you know.
Die, indeed. Why, I know...
Master, it is against the laws of heaven for a woman to marry a god.
I'm not a god. I'm a man. You know that by now, Billy.
No, and I should not want to think so, Master. But either way, this can mean only trouble. I beg you to reconsider.
And I beg you to shut up, Billy. I'm through waiting. I'm going over there.
Master, please.
We've got to go with him, Billy. And I'm thinking it's going to mean trouble. How many men can you depend on?
No more than 20 with rifles. Most of my men are in Bashkai.
Then what shall we do?
We shall have to make a run for it, I fear. We might be safe in Bashkai.
Go on now, you sparkling fools. Bring out the girl. Well, now, that's better. Here, girl, this is no way for a bride to behave. A smile now, and give us a kiss. Oh! The wench has bitten me.
Bloodbuster, don't let them see the blood.
Look! See the blood! It's not a god or a devil, but only a man!
Here, Thoth, what is this, Ross?
It's too late.
Mark Daniel, they're coming with knives.
They can't do this. I'm the king.
We've got to run for it, Master.
Oh, come on, Daniel, come on.
I'll come back and beat their blasted heads in. That's what I'll do.
Oh, Daniel, we'll be back all right.
How much further, Billy?
Oh, only a short way. Beyond this ridge, Master.
Well, so far, so good. At last, them blooming drums are stopped.
We're at the top, Daniel.
A right good climb it's been.
Oh, wait. Look. Seems the drums have come before us, Master.
Cut off. No less than 1,000 of them standing there quiet like, with them wicked long knives in their hands.
There'll be no getting past them, Daniel.
No. We are done for. Go back, Billy Fish, and take your men away with you. Go with him, Peachy. It's me they want. I did it. Me, the king.
No, Dan. I'm sticking with you. Billy Fish, you clear out.
I am your friend. I stay with you.
You're a good man, Billy.
Maybe coming now, Daniel.
Peachy.
Forget it, Daniel. I forgive you freely and fully.
Then let them come. There'll be one thing they can't change, Peachy. We've been kings. Kings in our own right. Kings of all Kafiristan.
Sliced open poor Billy Fish like a blooming herring they did. There in the snow and the rocks.
Good Lord, man. But you, Peachy, you got away from them.
Like nowhere did I get away from them. They had us for fair, all right. Strung me out on a tree. Drove nails right through my hands, they did. See? But I fooled them all right. 'Cause morning came, I wasn't nowise dead. then I made them think I'd lost my senses. I was afraid to harm me because I was protected by Allah. They cut me down then, and after a while, they let me go.
You poor devil. But what of Dravot? What happened to Daniel?
Daniel's the king. He wears the golden crown.
But now, what happened to him?
He's never left me. All them long months walking on the road back, he kept me safe. The mountains, they danced at night. But Daniel held up his hand, and Peachy came along, bent double. I never let go of Daniel's hand, nor Daniel's head that they gave me in the temple as a present. It's with me now, here, in this bundle. You knew old Daniel's. Him that was a monarch once. Look at him now. Well, and now you've seen that we was really kings. I'll be on my way. You'll pardon me, sir?
I let him go. There was little else to do. He was only hours away from his death. I sat there and stared at the bundle he had left lying on my desk, stared as the pale shafts of dawn struck fire in the red beard, stared at the golden crown, sitting too large and heavy upon the wrinkled, mummified head of Daniel Dravot, the man who would be king.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight's story, Rudyard Kipling's The Man Who Would Be King, was adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield and featured Raymond Lawrence as Peachy, Eric Snowden as Daniel Dravot, and Herbert Rawlinson as Kipling. Musical effects were created and conducted by Cy Fewer. Next week, CBS and its affiliated stations invite you to escape in Operation Fleur de Lys, an episode from the files of the OSS. And so, good night, until a week from tonight, when again we invite you to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Escape. Escape tonight to occupied France and the underground. The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the second, is Operation Fleur de Lys, written and directed by William N. Robeson. Today, the 14th of July, the people of a free France celebrate the anniversary of their escape from the tyranny of the kings of Versailles. 158 years ago today, the people of Paris stormed the Bastille and let loose the French Revolution. The torch of liberty set afire that day never burned more fiercely than during the years when France was occupied by the Nazis. We escape tonight to occupied France, from which 3 years ago there was no escape.
You can call me Duke, but don't use my right name. I might want to go back to France someday. And there are a lot of people in the world that wouldn't understand that what I did was justified in the war. No, I don't have any regrets. Moral ones, that is. It isn't what I did to Renee that keeps me awake at nights. It's just the memory of her. There isn't much about her in my official report on Operation Fleur de Lys, but then it isn't customary to include descriptions of slim, sunburned legs and wide, deep brown eyes in a military document. And anyway, she was only an incident in the operation, even if she became somewhat more important to me. Operation Fleur de Lys began, like all the others, in the grubby, undistinguished house in London, which was the headquarters of the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, otherwise known in various parts of the world as screwballs, cutthroats, spies, cloak and dagger boys, and American underground agents.
Gentlemen, Operation Fleur de Lys is planned to assist the advance of our forces once they've secured a beachhead in Normandy.
Is that where we're going in, Major?
That is one of the possibilities, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
You will jump over Grand Mont in northern France, here on the map. You have to set up roadblocks on these 3 state highways. Here, here, and here.
There is an underground contact near Grand Mont?
Yes, Alcine Duton. He's leader of the local Maquis, expecting him. In addition, you have to block these railroad lines entering and leaving Grand Mont. These operations are to coincide with the advance of our ground forces.
If they land in Normandy.
If they land in Normandy. You will emplane tonight at 2100 hours and will drop over your objective at, I should think, approximately 2230. Any questions?
No, I don't think so, sir.
Well, yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, Lieutenant?
How many of us are going on this mission?
Just the 2 of you.
Just the 2 of us. And all we had to do was organize an underground army, disrupt the supply lines of a half a dozen Nazi divisions, and give support to the entire Allied invasion. Just the 2 of us. But that's the way the OSS worked. And nobody ordered Hill and me into it. We'd volunteered. I don't know why. Maybe for moments like this one, when you get a B-24 assigned to you as a personal taxi, and there's lots of room to sprawl around aft of the bomb bay.
How do you feel?
Fine.
Scared?
Of course I'm scared, aren't you?
Me? No. This is a walk. You forget how tough it was when we were at paratroop school at Benning.
Yeah, that was real rugged.
If the wind wasn't right, you might land in the Chattahoochee and get all wet.
And there was always the chance that you'd sprain your ankle coming down too hard.
And the sun was so bright on some of those daylight jumps.
Whereas we got none of those things to worry about here. A nice pitch-black night over France, no sun to blind us, no Chattahoochee River to fall into.
Hey, Lieutenant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Skipper wants to talk to you on the intercom.
Thanks.
Here, use my can.
Thank you. Duke here.
Lieutenant, I'm over your objective.
Any signal from the ground?
Yes, the one arranged. 4 dots, 2 dashes. Green.
Very well.
You and Lieutenant Hill move into the bomb bay catwalk. I'll open bomb bay doors in 30 seconds.
Roger.
Good luck.
Thanks. Sergeant, stand by to dump those supplies as soon as we're clear.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Ed. This, as someone has said, is it.
So soon? Just as I was settling down a good book.
Bomb bay doors are opening, sir.
Okay, Sergeant. All right, Ed, let's check your harness.
It's a frightful mess. I just can't seem to do a thing with it.
I know, but this is the last party you'll have to wear it on. Okay. How am I?
Well, don't look now, but your chute's showing.
Tuck it in. Let's get out on that catwalk.
Wow, what a refreshing breeze.
And all of France at our feet.
You see the signal?
That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Over to the left. Got it?
Got it.
Let's go! You kid. Sure you kid. It helps. But for those 10 seconds while you fall free, nothing helps. You hang on to the ripcord and you count off the seconds and you try not to count too fast. Your hand on that ripcord is the only certain thing in the world as you tumble head over teacups with a wind tearing sound from your ears. And there's only one thought, always the same thought, whether it's your first or your 50th jump. Will the chute open? It does. Yanking at your armpits, knocking the breath out of you, slowing you down, and you swing there like a rag doll trying to get your bearings. First, you make out the horizon. That's where the black becomes darker black, where the stars stop. And you wonder about Ed, but you can't risk calling out. And now that you're located where the stars aren't, you look for the signal light, and there it is, slightly to the left. So you tug at your shroud lines, spilling a little air to guide you toward it. And and it's coming toward you awfully fast. And you hope this particular French patriot has picked out a field free of trees and church steeples. And then you try to remember all the things they taught you about hitting the ground and rolling with the wind and collapsing your chute. Because it's always like this. You always feel like you've never hit the silk before. And then you're down, and you roll just right, and you collapse your chute, and it's second nature to you after all. And then you hear footsteps running towards you. And you remember another important instruction. You whip out your automatic, and you hope your French is good enough to get you by. Qui va? Who is it?
Alcine here.
Fleur.
De Lys.
Okay, Alcine, come on.
At last you've arrived, Lieutenant.
So it seems.
You have no idea how long we've wished for this moment.
Hold it. That's my partner. Come on. Hey, Ed.
Over here, Duke.
You okay?
My empennage is slightly damaged, otherwise okay.
This is Alcine, our contact. Alcine, Lieutenant Hill.
Hello, Alcine.
Lieutenant, it is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance. And on behalf of my countrymen...
Yeah, well, let's get these chutes buried and blow this place. Where's your transportation, Alcine?
We haven't any.
What?
Where's the safe house?
You might be able to stay at my aunt's. I don't think she'd talk.
You don't think, aren't you sure?
Oh, yes, I'm supremely confident that
Where are the Germans?
They're everywhere. And that is why I'm so glad you're here. Now we can fight again. With your help, we will kill many Boche.
Wait a minute. How many are there in your Maquis?
Myself and 2 others.
Just 3 of you?
Oh, my aching back.
But now that the Americans are here, we can do anything.
Oh, why don't they get these things straight in London? How can we block roads with a 3-man Maquis?
3 men and an aunt who perhaps will not talk.
Well, let's get cracking.
Duke, you're not going through with this mad venture, are you?
What would you suggest?
Well, as for me, I'm all for taking the next plane back to London.
Another piece of bread, Lieutenant.
No, thank you, ma'am.
This bone chicken is delicious. How do you call it?
K-ration.
Supreme. We've had nothing like it since the Boche came.
Yeah, well, you get used to it.
And cigarettes, Tante Marie. Cigarettes made of real tobacco. You Americans have everything.
Madame, Alcine, you are kind, you are hospitable, but the comforts of K-ration will not block roads. We need men. We must form a Maquis.
But we have a Maquis.
Look, Alcine, there are 3 of you and 2 of us. Sure, we've got guns and we've got ammunition and supply chutes somewhere out in that field where we landed. We've got arms for 50 men. But if we had those men, we still couldn't go to war against the German division.
And you said yourself there's at least a division garrisoned in Grammont.
What must we do?
First, we must organize a Maquis. We need men. Can you get them?
I can go into the village and talk to my friends.
You should have done that a long time ago.
Faustine, that would be most unwise.
Why?
Didn't you know? Faustine is a patriot. He's a deserter from the Vichy army, so he's wanted by the Gestapo.
Oh, great. And there's a Gestapo headquarters in Grammont, of course.
Of course. Faustine is not one to run from danger.
Quite the contrary.
I can get Renee to help.
Who's Renee?
Alcine's sweetheart, a lovely girl from Paris. Poor thing, she had to come down to the country because her house was bombed out.
Let's leave her out of this.
But, Lieutenant, she would be most happy to help.
Alcine, you got a lot to learn about guerrilla warfare. You might as well study your first lesson right now. It's short and to the point. No dames. Well, the next day, we collected the supplies, which had been dropped with us, and we set up a camp deep in the woods. Hill and I were loaded with French money, so we were able to buy food from the friendly farmers. Maybe it was the food as much as patriotism that brought us recruits. Anyway, after a week, we had nearly 30 men. Our Maquis wasn't big enough for the job we had to do, but it was growing in the right direction. And then one night as I was winding up a report to London...
Oh? What do they say?
What do they ever say? Message acknowledged. Carry on.
Well, what about new batteries for the radio? What about extra ammunition for the Buck Rogers guns? When are they going to get another drop to us?
Why don't you ask them?
Yeah, I know.
They do the best they can, I guess. After all, we're not the only Boy Scouts in this jamboree.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Duke.
Yeah?
There goes Alcine again, off toward the road.
What the... Hey, Alcine!
Yes?
Come here a minute.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Where are you going?
I was just taking a stroll.
You on night guard?
Not tonight.
You weren't on night guard last night, were you?
No, Lieutenant.
Or the night before?
No, sir.
But you weren't in camp all night, were you?
No, sir.
What's the matter? Don't you like the camp? Rather sleep at your aunt's? Is it too rugged out here for you?
No, sir.
Then where were you?
In the village.
You know the orders. No one is to go into the village.
Yes, Lieutenant, but I only go in at night.
That makes no difference.
But it does. You see, Lieutenant, I'm so in love.
Oh, great.
The girl from Paris?
Yes. You should see her, Lieutenant. She's the most beautiful, the most charming,
Don't you know you're endangering the whole Marquis by disobeying my orders?
Oh, no, sir. There's no danger with Renee. She hates the bush. Why, she wants to join us.
You've told her about us?
Oh, yes, sir.
Are you out of your mind? How do you know she's all right?
I just know that's all. She's the most wonderful person in the world. She's a real patriot.
I told you, rule number 1 is no dames.
Yes, but Renee is different.
Yeah. Well, you better marry her before you bring her around here, or you'll have to share her with the rest of these wolves.
Lieutenant, do I understand you?
Forget it, Elsie. It's just an American figure of speech.
May I tell Renee she can join us?
Well, not quite yet. Later, maybe.
Yes, Lieutenant. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
If you got to take it, Alcine, take it easy.
I do not understand.
Just another American idiom, Elsie. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hey, Duke. You going to let him get away with that?
Well, what are we going to do?
Slap him into the guardhouse for 30 days.
Only this isn't the American Army. We haven't any guardhouse.
Yeah, it stinks from a security standpoint.
I know. If we try to keep these boys from sneaking off home every now and then, we're not going to have any Marquis.
These French. An immoral race.
I don't know about that. Remember Phoenix City, Alabama?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
There wasn't anything we could do. If we'd ordered Alcine to stay in camp, he'd have sneaked off anyway. He had that dreamy, faraway look that's baffled parents, teachers, and first lieutenants since the beginning of time. I didn't worry too much about it because our Marquis was growing, and Ed Hill and I were breaking our backs pushing those French kids through an ersatz basic in 3 weeks. Headquarters in London didn't tell us much, but we did know from the BBC that the boys had landed at Omaha Beach, and it wouldn't be long before they'd be needing our roadblocks. And then one morning, about D+4, I think it was, I was out in the woods running a squad through concealment drill. No. Hit the dirt. Don't wait or you're dead. When you see the signal, hit the dirt right now.
Pardon me, Lieutenant.
Huh? Oh, I'll see. Where have you been all night as though I didn't know?
Lieutenant, I've got to talk to you.
Okay, I'll be through here in a half hour or so.
Got to talk to you now.
Huh? All right, Elsie. Okay, boys, take 5. Come along, Elsie. What's on your mind?
Lieutenant, my family's been killed.
Oh, no.
Yes, by the Gestapo. They set fire to the house. My mother, my father, my 2 sisters. They ran out. The Gestapo shot them.
You're sure of this?
Yes, I heard it this morning from a neighbor who saw it happen.
You poor kid.
When can we attack, Lieutenant? When can we stop this endless training and fight the bush? No, I want only to kill and kill and kill until I pay them back for my father, my mother, my 2 sisters.
Yeah, I know. You'll get your chance, Elsie, but not yet. We gotta wait. We're not ready yet.
I'm ready. Before I wanted to fight the bush for my country. Now I want to kill him again and again. For them.
I know, but you gotta be patient.
It should happen to me now. Only last night Renee said she'd marry me. Come to live here with me in the camp. I was so happy. And this morning I learned this news.
When did you hear from your mother last?
Not for a month since we began to work, but I've written her every week.
You have? Who mailed the letters?
Renee mailed them for me. She's so kind and thoughtful. She offered to mail letters home for the other boys, too.
Oh, that was nice of her. Did they take advantage of her offer?
A couple of them.
Who?
Paul and Jean. I told them about it, and they wrote their families.
And Renee mailed the letters, huh?
Yeah, she's a wonderful person, Lieutenant. You're going to love her.
Yeah, I think I am.
She's all I've got in the world now.
2 and 2 make 4 in occupied France, just the same as anywhere else. And sometimes it's just as hard to prove. But one thing was sure. Now I wanted to meet Renee in the worst way. But I had to postpone the pleasure because early that afternoon one of the outposts broke into camp out of breath.
Yeah?
Yes, Paul.
The Boche. They're coming down the road through the forest.
How many?
I did not stop to count them. Several truckloads, to be sure.
Pass the word to Lieutenant Hill. Ask him to bring his detail into camp on the double.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Alcine.
Yes, sir?
Take 2 men and go down by the road and see what they're up to.
Yes, sir.
Just reconnoiter. Don't fire at them.
But this is my chance for revenge.
Listen to me. Don't fire at them. That's a command.
Yes, sir.
They may not be after us at all. Now get going.
Immediately, Lieutenant.
What's the order of the day, Duke?
Lance Graham?
Yeah, looks like it. All your men here?
Present and accounted for.
All right, boys, now gather around, will you, and get this. There's a convoy of Germans coming down the forest road. Now, wait a minute. We're not going to fight them. You know what our job is. Roadblocks. We got tanks, artillery, and airplanes that'll be along soon to do the killing.
But we have...
Now, look, our security's been pretty good. And those Krauts may be on a routine patrol. The chances are they don't even know we're here.
They do now. Listen.
Yeah. Well, that does it. All right. You men got your weapons?
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, you know the procedure. Get lost. Before you leave the forest, bury your weapons, ammunition, and equipment. Rendezvous at the home of Alcine's aunt at 2200 hours tonight. Good luck. Come on, Ed, let's scram.
Well, he who doesn't fight and runs away lives to fight another day.
Or something like that.
Who tipped them off?
I'm not sure, but I got a pretty good idea.
Who's down there at the road?
Alcine. He's fighting a private war, the poor jerk. The basic rule of 3 in guerrilla warfare is surprise, kill, vanish. However, when you're surprised, the only rule is vanish. And we did. There were about 50 Germans and a half a dozen dogs to track our scent. They spent the day thrashing through the woods, firing into the underbrush, and finding nothing. It was a classic withdrawal, and Hill and I were proud of our little army, with the exception of Alcine, its self-appointed hero. When we arrived at his aunt's house that night for the rendezvous, a half a dozen of the boys were already there.
Who is it?
Fleur.
De Lys. Lieutenant, come in.
Good evening, madame.
Alcine is already here. I'm so proud of him.
Lieutenant, I was just telling Tante Marie and the boys it was magnificent. I got 2 of them. I killed 2 Boche.
Your orders were not to shoot.
But, Lieutenant, what would you?
What happened to the other boys who were with you?
Jean was wounded and captured. Antoine became frightened and ran away.
That blows the Marquis. They'll get the full particulars from Jean.
They haven't got him already.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but...
Quiet. Answer it, madame.
Who is it?
Look.
De Lys.
Open it.
Good evening, madame.
Come in, boys.
Run into any trouble, boys?
As you see, we are here.
Yeah.
Not for long. Lieutenant,
yes,
Raoul
Paul.
and I wish to withdraw from the Marquis.
Quit? Why?
The risk is too great.
You afraid?
For myself, no. But after what happened to John.
He was wounded and captured. We all take that risk.
Yes, but last night the Gestapo got Jean's family. Like they did Alcine's. Stood them up in front of their house and shot them. Who knows who'll be next? My mother, Raoul's sister, Alcine's aunt. I wish to withdraw.
So do I.
All right, now, wait a minute. I don't blame you for being worried about your families. But whose families do you think the British and American armies up in Normandy are fighting to liberate? Their own? No, yours. Now, this thing isn't as bad as it looks. There's been a leak in our security. Somebody's been putting the finger on us, so we lay low until the leak's plugged.
But the Germans are everywhere. Spies, perhaps, too, are everywhere.
I think I know who's responsible for these murders. I'll make a deal with you. Give me a couple of days to work it out. We'll issue you boys some money, and all you've got to do is to get lost until Saturday night, and then meet me back here. If I haven't patched up our security by then, you can all quit the Marquis and become collaborators.
Oh, it is not that, Lieutenant.
No one wishes to collaborate.
But one must think of one's family.
Okay. Dad.
Yeah, dude.
Give the boys 1,000 francs apiece.
Right. Come and get it, boy. Come on.
Alcine.
Yes, my lieutenant?
I'm going to have a little time on my hands for the next couple of days. You think you could arrange to introduce me to your girlfriend?
Oh, but of course, Lieutenant.
Maybe, if she's okay, like you say, we can let her sign up, huh?
I am desolated with happiness, Lieutenant.
One thing. None of that lieutenant business around her until I make sure she's all right.
Very well.
You think my French is good enough to pass as a native?
But of course, Lieutenant.
All right, then pass me off as a friend of yours. Let's see, I'll need a name. Let's call me Jacques Dufresne.
Jacques Dufresne. Good, I will make the arrangements immediately.
I thought you'd like an excuse to get into town tonight. The next afternoon, Alcine brought the girl out to the woods near his aunt's house. I stood behind a tree to watch and make sure they weren't being followed. She was all right. Tall, long, sunburned legs, her hair caught in a blue ribbon like a little girl's. I let them walk by, and then I stepped from behind my tree.
Oh, there you are, Jacques.
Hello, Alcine.
René, this is my good friend Jacques Dufresne. He's from Paris, too. Jacques, this is René de Cibourg.
Glad to meet you, mademoiselle.
And I'm honored to meet you, monsieur. Where do you live in Paris?
Near the Porte du Lilas. But my home is no longer there. It was bombed out.
Alas, so was mine.
My family remain with friends, but I've come out into the country to fight with the resistance.
Jacques has much influence with the commander of our Marquis.
Oh, I hope you will be able to persuade him to let me join you, monsieur.
I shall do what I can.
It would be a privilege and an honor to work with a patriot like you.
See, Jacques, I told you Rene was all right.
You didn't tell me the half of it. Mademoiselle, you understand that we must be cautious. There are questions I must ask of a confidential nature.
Why don't we meet again? Alone.
Why not?
Say, tonight? I have a little car.
But...
We might take a drive.
Fine.
But, Rene, you promised me that...
I can see you some other time, ma chère. Remember, France comes first.
We just drove that night. She was wearing a white ribbon in her hair and a loose white dress and no stockings. We just drove around in her little Citroën with the top down and the wind blowing her hair like a girl in a magazine ahead. And then we came back about midnight and parked at the bridge. I felt like I was back in high school in Illinois.
Look at those stars.
Yeah.
So many of them. So close you can almost reach out and touch them.
Yeah.
I had them all once, Jacques. I reached out and gathered them all in my arms once.
Yeah?
I want you to know all about me, Jacques.
I want to.
Don't think it's wrong of me. But I've been in love.
There's nothing wrong in being in love.
He was a soldier.
Most everybody is these days.
A German soldier.
Oh.
Don't you think that love is bigger than war or hate or anything?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's dead now.
That's good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm not sorry he's dead.
Chuck, I'm so confused. I want to understand things. I want to be intelligent about things. But everything gets so mixed up. Like now.
Like now?
Yes. Chuck, I've never been so happy as I am tonight.
Not even with the German?
Not even with him. Why does it have to end? Why do those blessed stars have to go out one by one to make way for another day of war? Why can't we stop time? You and I. And gather all the stars together. Just for us.
I don't know, baby. It's never been done before. But we can try. Yeah.
Tomorrow night?
Same time, same place. Forever, if you say the word.
Forever?
Sure, why not? Who knows how long forever is in this crazy world? Why not have it together? Why not get married?
Why not, my most beloved?
See you tomorrow night.
I'll only be half alive until then. Sherry, if you want to write to your family in Paris, give me the letter tomorrow night, and I'll mail it for you.
No. All right, drop that rock and grab a sock. Rise and shine, lover boy. I brought you a cup of chocolate. Figured you want breakfast in bed this morning.
Oh, thanks.
How'd you make out last night?
Okay.
Details. Let's have the details.
Nothing much to report. We drove, and then we parked for a while and talked.
Did she give anything away?
No information. She's a funny kid. Her dialogue's as corny as a bobby soxer. She knows she's pretty, so she wants to be admired for her mind. But I'm sure she's our Mata Hari.
How come?
She offered to mail a letter to my family.
That's consistent.
I asked her to marry me.
What?
She didn't believe me, but she pretended like she did. Oh, I don't know why she's doing what she's doing. Thrills, maybe.
French juvenile delinquent.
Maybe. Tonight's the night.
The night you get married?
No, the night we get her. The boys are meeting us here at midnight, you know.
What's the plan?
Well, I'll take another ride with her. And about midnight, we'll be back and parked by the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be there out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have some brandy along, and I'll slug her drink with a capture pill. When she's passed out, I'll give you the come-on, and you join me. Here, baby, have another drink, huh?
I shouldn't, Jack. Brandy always makes me sleepy.
Well, what of it? This is a celebration of our engagement.
Oh, kiss me, Jack. Again and again.
Sure.
Jack, the stars are nearer. Nearer than they've ever been.
Nearer than you think, baby.
I love you, Jack. I do love you. Kiss me again. Do it again. And again.
Renee. Baby. Are you asleep? You collaborationist pig, can you hear me? Okay, Ed.
Is she out?
Like a red light in an air raid. Here's her purse. Start through it while I untangle myself.
Now, take a look at this.
What is it?
A letter from Gestapo headquarters confirming receipt of 3 addresses.
Let me see that. Well, that one's Alcine's family, and that one's Jean's.
And here's a Gestapo identification card.
Flash your light over there. Look at her.
What a dish.
Look at that kisser. She's responsible for the death of 6 people whose only crime was being born French. She'd have wrecked our marquis, snafooed our mission, and turned me over to the Gestapo with her lipstick still on my collar. That gorgeous hunk of double cross. Now we got the proof. Let's get on with it.
Okay. I guess you'd rather I...
No, this is my job.
Gee, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. So long, honey. Thanks.
She ain't so gorgeous now.
Release that handbrake. Got it. Come on, shove. Not yet. Keep that steering wheel straight. The river's deepest right at the center of the bridge. Yeah. Now, hard right on the wheel. You know something, Ed?
Huh?
I think she finally did gather that armful of stars. Sure, the operation was successful. When the time came, our roadblocks tied up 3 German divisions while Patton rolled on to the east. But I still lie awake at night thinking I should have married that dame. Yeah, the operation was successful, but the patient died.
Operation Fleur de Lys was written, directed, and produced by William N. Robeson with Jack Webb as Duke, Elliot Lewis as Hill, Peggy Weber as Renee, and Harry Bartell as Alcine. Operation Fleur de Lys was based on an incident from the files of the OSS, recorded in Sub Rosa by Stuart Alsop and Thomas Braden. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Pure. Escape is presented by CBS and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape with F. Scott Fitzgerald in his unforgettable story, The Diamond as Big as the Ritz. And so, good night, until next week, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Escape tonight to the China Seas in Typhoon.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the 4th, is Typhoon by Joseph Conrad, produced and directed by William N. Robeson.
Of all the great authors who wrote of the sea, none so captured the wonder and the horror of it as did Joseph Conrad. Tonight, we escape to the China seas in his great story, Typhoon, told in the words of a certain Mr. Jukes, chief mate of the China coast steamer Nan Shan, a young man of very remarkable perceptions.
I've been sailing the China Sea long enough to see some strange and terrible things, but nothing as bad as that was. Why, God himself forgot us, and the whole blinking universe set out to do us in that night. It was the... Oh, but that comes later. I guess you can't really understand what happened on board the Nan Shan without knowing something about our skipper, Captain McWhirr. Stupid McWhirr, I called him. And after sailing with him for 3 years, I ought to know what I'm talking about. Why, I tagged him right off, first day he came aboard to take command. In Liverpool it was. And Mr. Siggs, who was one of the owners, was showing him around the deck.
It is a more modern ship afloat. I might say again that you've come to us very highly recommended, Captain McWhirr. We've a great deal of confidence in you.
Thank you, Mr. Siggs.
She's a brand new ship and a good ship. There's no reason why you shouldn't continue in command of her as long as you like.
Well, that's fine.
She'll be the smartest thing afloat in the China trade. Why, she's put together like a Swiss watch. Precision built from stem to stern.
Wait, just a minute, Mr. Siggs.
What is it?
That lock.
Lock? What lock?
Here, on the cabin door.
What about it?
You'll notice how it's been set in the frame, somewhat cocked at an angle. The ship starts rolling a bit, and the first thing you know, it snaps open and leaves the door swinging. It really should be fixed, Mr. Siggs.
That's Captain McWhirr, the best berth he'd ever had. New command, a brand new ship. But instead of pinching himself to see if he's awake, he complains about a lock on the cabin door.
Yes,
See what I mean?
Captain McWhirr, I see what you mean. I'll have it attended to right away. I think you'll do all right.
Thank you, Mr. Siggs.
Well, everybody knows what the China coast is. You haul out of Bangkok for a quick run up to Singapore and then shove off for Hong Kong. 2 days ashore, you do it all over again. 3 years of it. 3 years of heat, smells, weather, copra, silk, and tea. Along in there somewhere, the owners decided to transfer the ship's registry to the Siamese flag. Don't ask me why. They just did, that's all. Anyway, I can tell you I didn't like it. When you grow up under the Union Jack, you figure to go on sailing under it. Not that the skipper, of course, could understand that kind of a feeling. Oh, no. Not old stupid McWhirr.
Aye? What is that, Mr. Jukes?
They just sent the new flag out from shore, sir. Here it is.
Oh, fine, fine. Unroll it. Let's have a look. Ah, yes.
In my opinion, sir, it's a queer kind of flag for a man to sail under.
Oh? And what's the matter with it?
Well, it just looks queer to me, that's all.
Well, now, let's see. A white elephant on a red field. Oh, just a minute. I'll look it up in the book. Here we are. Siam. White elephant on a field of bright red. Length exactly twice the breadth. So. Well, there's nothing wrong with this flag, Mr. Jukes.
Oh, isn't there?
Not a thing. I hardly thought there could be. After all, these people ought to know how to make their own flag. It stands to reason.
Does it now?
You must have it confused with some other flag, Mr. Jukes.
Well, all I can say is...
Of course, you'll have to take care the seamen don't hoist the elephant upside down. That is, before they're quite used to it. I presume it might be taken for a signal of distress. And in that case, well, the way I see it, that elephant stands for something like the nature of a Union Jack in the British flag.
Oh, you think so? Well, it's like a bloomin' Noah's Ark, that's what it is.
Mr. Jukes.
I'm sorry, sir.
I can't see where the color of a flag could anywise affect the navigation of a ship.
I
All right, sir. I'll instruct the hands. It'd certainly be a most distressful sight to see that elephant hoisted upside down. Well, that was Captain McWhirr. Couldn't get a thing through his head if you drew him a picture. And that's the skipper we had to sail under on the maddest, wildest trip that any coaster ever took. We were loading out in Singapore. Half the cargo had already come aboard. The sun was blazing, and the smoke from our stacks hung over the decks like a blanket. The Nanshan's winches puffed away aft, and cargo chains creaked and clattered across the combings. I was in the waist supervising the loading when Mr. Rout, the chief engineer, came up.
Hey there, Jukes. What's going on down there on the dock? Looks like a bloomin' army.
Well, I don't know, Mr. Rout. Must be a mob of coolies on the move.
Here comes the captain. Could be some of his doing.
Mr. Jukes.
Aye, sir.
Keep the forward between deck clear of cargo. There'll be 200 coolies coming aboard, and we'll plan to bunk them down there.
Good Lord, where are they bound?
Foochow. We'll have to put in there this trip.
Yeah, but we're not fixed to handle passengers, sir.
Oh, they'll bring supplies aboard with them. Every man's got a camphor wood chest, so you'll have to nail deck battens down there to keep them from sliding.
Yes, sir, I'll see to it.
They've all been working on a plantation north somewhere. 2-year contract. They're dying to get home. It wouldn't have been quite right to turn them down. You may as well start them coming aboard, Mr. Jukes.
All right, sir. Ollie number 1, boy, Ollie same. Listen, you savvy, huh? Ollie fellow, catch him here. Top side, catch him step, bottom side. Ollie time, chop, chop. Single file now. One fellow, one time, all the time. What do you suppose they carry in those boxes?
Oh, I suppose they're personal belongings, Mr. Jukes. And, of course, their 2 years' pay in silver dollars.
Well, they're as vicious a looking bunch of murderers as I've ever seen.
Murderers? Oh, come now, Mr. Jukes. 1 or 2 of them, maybe. But in the main, I'd say they're honest workmen. Have to be to stick out a 2-year contract on one of these plantations.
Just the same, sir. We'd better not take any chances.
No, I checked the lading weights carefully, Mr. Jukes. We can carry them without any overloading at all.
But I mean that... All right, sir. I'd better go hide the silverware in the officer's mess.
He's a hard lad to understand sometimes.
I could say I had a premonition right then, and I wouldn't be lying. Anyway, that's how it started. At the hottest time of the year, 200 half-civilized coolies aboard, a captain with no more imagination than you could stick in your ear, we steamed out from Singapore and laid a course for the port of Foochow.
Jukes, I don't like it. I don't like it a bit.
Well, what don't you like about it, Mr. Rowe?
Well, the looks of things. Something ominous about it.
Oh, there's a bit of a swell running all right. There's not a breath of wind. It's uncommonly hot, that's all. Gives a man the jumps. You're as bad as the second mate. He's been groaning around like the voice of doom all day.
Well, I don't know.
Mr. Jukes!
Oh, that's the old man. I'll see you later. Keep your steam up, Mr. Rowe. Calling me, Captain?
I was, Mr. Jukes. What was all the long conversation with Mr. Rout?
Oh, why, nothing much, sir. I didn't see any harm in talking a bit. I'm not on watch, you know.
Oh, no, nothing wrong with it, nothing at all. I just wondered what you could find to talk about.
Well, different things, I don't know.
I've seen people on shore sit around the table and talk for 2 or 3 hours. I never could understand it.
It's just conversation, that's all, about nothing in particular.
Seems pretty silly. Well, you've noticed the barometer, no doubt?
Yes, sir, it's dropping.
Falling fast. Quite low now. Take a look.
I'll say it's dropping.
Bad time of the year for that sort of thing. Very bad.
Anything you want me to do, sir?
Oh, no. Must be some uncommonly dirty weather knocking about somewhere. Eh, Mr. Jukes?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's all. Just thought you ought to know about it, that's all. Carry on, sir, carry on.
doing all right, mate. Them coolies must be having a time of it down below. Lucky for them, the old girl rolls easier than any ship I've ever seen.
You just wait.
Oh, you think we may be in for it, huh?
Oh, no. I don't think anything. You're not going to make a fool out of me that way, Mr. Jukes. I didn't say a word.
What's the matter with you, Second? Why shouldn't you say what you think if you're a mind?
No, you don't catch me.
Whoa, there's another one. It's pretty rough. Now, whatever is about, we're steaming right into it.
You just try telling the old man that.
And why shouldn't I? Matter of fact, I think I'll ask him about this cross swell. It's getting worse all the time.
I've known skippers to break some right good men for saying a whole lot less.
Captain McWhirr.
Yes, Mr. Jukes. What is it?
The swell is getting a good deal worse, sir.
Yes, I noticed that in here. Anything wrong?
Well, I was thinking about the passengers.
Huh? What passengers?
Why, the coolies, sir.
Then if you mean coolies, say coolies, Mr. Jukes. A man ought to say what he means. What about the coolies?
She's rolling her decks full of water, sir. I thought you might want to put her head at the swell for a bit. Until this goes down, of course.
So that's it, eh? Put her head at the swell, 4 points off the coast.
Well, it's just for a while, sir. A swell as high as this can't last long. That stands to reason.
Mr. Jukes, take a look at the barometer.
Good Lord.
Yes, exactly. It's a dead calm outside, isn't it?
There's not a breath of air stirring, sir. Only that cross swell.
I've been reading in the book here about storms. Funny thing. If a man believed everything written down here, he'd spend half his life running to get behind the weather. If I was to go by what this fellow says, I'd alter my course and come booming into Foochow from the north. 4 days late, 300 extra miles in distance, and a pretty bill for coal on top of it. I tell you, Mr. Jukes, if I knew every word in here was gospel true, I couldn't bring myself to do that.
No, sir, I guess not.
And how's a man to know if the book is right? If you dodge around a spot of dirty weather, how do you ever find out it was there in the first place? Answer me that. No, Mr. Jukes, there's things that a man can't get from books. I've thought it all out this afternoon. We'll hold her steady as she goes.
Whatever you say, sir. You're the captain. I guess I'd better write up the log. I'm going on watch.
Good. I dare say we're heading into something a bit out of the ordinary. Call me at once if anything shows up in the night, Mr. Jukes.
All right, sir. I'll see to it.
And, Mr. Jukes.
Yes, sir.
If you're going into the chart room, please close that blinking door. I can't stand to hear a door banging.
Yes, sir. 8 p.m. Swell increasing. Ship laboring heavily and taking water on all decks. Still a dead calm and very hot. Batten down the coolies for the night. The barometer is still falling. All appearances indicate an approaching typhoon. Steady as she goes, that's all we can do.
Aye, sir. I'll sure try to.
Well, do the best you can.
Aye, sir. Mr. Jukes. Mr. Jukes.
Aye, Captain, I'm coming. Stand by.
Over here, Mr. Jukes. Starboard street rail.
Right, sir. Coming over.
Mr. Jukes, why didn't you call me?
Well, there was no warning, sir. Hit us all of a sudden about 5 minutes ago. Blasted right out of a dead calm.
The book was right in some parts, anyhow. How's it go in the wheelhouse?
Hack it is. Look out, sir. Hang
on. What about Hackett?
He's on the wheel. Second is putting up shutters. The window glass will go if she starts breaking any higher.
Oh, she'll break higher, Mr. Jukes. What's higher?
It's a happy thought.
You haven't altered her course?
No, sir. Heading straight at the wind.
Good. Nothing else we can do, Mr. Jukes. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Some things a man can't find in books. Just keep her at it, that's all.
Captain, our boats are starting to break away.
That's all right.
But the boats, sir, 2 of them are gone now.
It can't be helped, Mr. Jukes. Hammering through a mess like this, you're bound to leave something behind. That's the reason. Hold hard. She's still rising, all right. That one broke over the wheelhouse.
We're done for sure.
What's that, Mr. Dukes? You say something?
I said, is there any chance at all, sir? Can she live through it?
She may. We can hope so long, at least. She's a good ship. That's all a man can ask. What's that? Somebody yelling?
Below us on the foredeck, sir. Up here, starboard bridge.
Man shouldn't be on that deck unless he has to. It's a bit dangerous.
Yes, sir?
Over here. What's the trouble, bosun?
In Chinese, sir.
Wait, hang on.
The Chinese. What about them?
They've all fetched away, sir. One big lump. It's horrible.
Yeah, now what do you mean, fetched away?
Rolling around in a hold in one big lump. Screaming like bloomin' maniacs, sir. All adrift.
Mr. Duke?
Yes, sir.
I can't make head nor tail of this. I guess you'd better go below and see to it. Put things in order.
Well, what shall I do, sir?
I can't tell you up here. Find out what's wrong. Straighten it out. That's all.
That's all.
Take the bosun with you. I'm going to try for the wheelhouse.
All right, sir. Come on, bosun.
Aye, sir.
Just straighten it out. That's all.
Well, how's the wheel stand, Hackett?
As steady as she goes, sir.
You realize, of course, we've hit a typhoon.
Aye, sir.
Sorry I can't give you relief. Can you manage a while longer?
I'll hold it to the course, sir. As long as there's a ship by night.
Sure, that won't be long.
Oh, anything wrong, second?
Wrong. We're all as good as dead men. That's what's wrong.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. She's still afloat. And we've got it lucky here on deck. Plenty of chance to see what's coming before it hits us. A man always feels better when he can see what's coming. But it's a different story down below there. Not having knowledge of what's going on. Not knowing if we're afloat or sinking. Now, there's the lads that's got it tough. The ones down there in the engine room.
Now for the steam to drop. Here, ride that throttle, Beals. Can't let her rip her shaft out when she breaks clear of those swells. Hello, Bridge. Hello, Bridge. Confounded, why don't they answer the speaking tube? Can't tell if they're dead or alive up there. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Rout?
Captain, how is it on deck?
Bad enough. It depends mostly on you.
Well, so far so good. We're holding a full head of steam.
Good. We'll need it.
Don't let me drive her under, sir.
Have to take a chance. Can't see 20 feet up here. Got to keep moving enough to steer.
I understand, sir. Count on us.
Getting smashed about a good deal, but doing fairly well. As long as the wheelhouse stands. Wait, hold on.
Hello. Hello.
Is that the captain, Mr. Rout? I've got to talk to him right away.
Wait a minute, Dukes. Something's happened up there. Hello. Hello, Bridge.
You still there, Mr. Rout?
Right. Anything wrong, sir?
No, not now. The second mate's lost, though.
Overboard?
Oh, no. Lost his nerve. Awkward circumstance. Had to knock him out, too. Too bad.
You hear that, Dukes?
Yes, let me talk to him. Captain, Duke's here. The bosun and I just took a look at the 'tween deck. It's them bloomin' boxes, sir. They've all broke loose and smashed to bits. The coolies are fighting like crazy men for them silver dollars that's rolling around.
Fighting? Can't have fighting on board, Mr. Duke.
There are 200 of them, sir. They're all trying to kill each other.
I can't have it, Mr. Duke. Put a stop to it at once, do you hear?
Put a stop to it? How? They're crazy mad. They'll kill anybody that came on that deck.
You're second in command, Mr. Duke. Use your authority. Make it clear to them. We simply can't have fighting.
Make it clear to them?
Oh, yes, sir. After that, you'd better gather up all the money. I can't have it lying about on the deck. Get the bosun to help you. Wait, here it comes.
Gee, Arsapat. There's the one that does it. That must have swept the deck from stem to stern. Hello. Hello, Captain McGuire. You all right up there?
Everything's all right, Mr. Rout. All the boats and half the starboard rail carried away. Nothing serious. There's nothing to worry about, Mr. Rout. Carry on.
Nothing to worry about. Carry on. You're all right, Captain. As you say, sir. Carry on.
Carry on?
Hey, now. Where you going? Where you going, eh?
Where do you think I'm going, you loudmouth old windbag? Out on that deck to get myself murdered.
Nothing serious, Jukes. Nothing to worry about.
The whole blooming world's falling apart, and I'm out picking up silver dollars. Captain's orders. Come on, Bosun.
Don't miss any, old Jukes. Carry on, boy. Carry on.
No help for it. Our gallant skipper says to stop the fighting. Use our authority. All right, then, quiet down. Come on, Bosun.
Aye, sir.
Show it there, you fools. Cut it out now, do you hear me? Authority, huh? They're clean out of their heads. We gotta drive them to the bulkhead. Back up now. Hey, none of that. Stay to it, Bosun. We gotta show them what for. Nothing else to do. Back up there. Captain's orders, you know. Follow me, Bosun.
I was just thinking, sir.
Yeah, what about? Back there. No fighting allowed. Skipper's orders.
What if me old lady could see me now?
She'd say, oh, you jolly sailor lad. Keep over there. Jam him up, Bosun, into the bulkhead. Captain. Where are you, Captain?
Over here, Mr. Jukes. You got everything cleared up down below?
Oh, yes. We took care of everything, sir.
I thought you would. The wind fell all at once, stopped cold. It's been like this for 10 minutes now.
If you think it was an easy job to bring that mob under control.
Oh, the coolies? Oh, I dare say it wasn't. Had to do what's fair by them, though. Mr. Jukes, that barometer in there stands at the lowest point I've ever seen a glass in my life.
You mean there'll be more of it?
The worst yet, according to the book. It'll break sudden now. Any minute. A puff or two of wind, and then it hits.
She's taken a horrible beating, sir.
She has indeed. And she's in for a worse one.
We haven't much chance, have we, sir?
She may come through it. She's a good ship.
There's the first puff.
It'll hit us hard when it comes. You left them pretty safe, did you?
The coolies? We strung lifelines, gives them something to hold on to.
Good. I'd like to give them all the chance we can, whatever happens.
Oh, they'll be all right, sir. I broke out rifles for 8 of the crew, put them to guarding all the companionways leading off the chain deck.
You armed the crew, Mr. Jukes?
Oh, sure. We won't have any trouble with them now, sir.
Mr. Jukes, please have those rifles returned to the magazines at once.
What?
There'll be work for every man aboard in a few minutes. I can't spare seamen to stand around and hold rifles when it isn't necessary.
Isn't necessary? Don't you realize those savages will think we stole their money? But they'll tear us to bits if they ever get out of that deck.
Oh, I think they'll understand we're dealing fair by them. Collect the rifles, Mr. Jukes.
Captain, it's suicide. The best thing we can do is turn the whole mess over to the authorities in Fuzhou, if we ever get there.
Well, I don't know. I figure that when anything happens on shipboard, it's up to me to settle it on shipboard. Part of the duties of commanding a vessel, Mr. Jukes. I've no doubt I'll be able to reach an understanding with these men later.
Understanding? You ought to have seen him a while ago when me and the bosun was down there.
Lost their heads a bit, I guess. No wonder at that when... Here she comes. Pick up those rifles, Mr. Jukes, and something else.
Yes, Captain.
If anything happens to me, you'll be in charge. Only advice, keep her facing it. Best way to get through, facing it. That's enough for any man.
All right, Captain, I'll remember.
And one thing more, Mr. Jukes.
Yes, sir.
Something that always helps at sea is to keep a cool head. Just keep a cool head.
Oh, no, keep a cool head. A stitch in time saves nine, a rolling stone. What in the name of heaven do you do with a man like that? There was a clear blue sky and bright sunshine the morning we steamed into Fuzhou Harbor. Mr. Rout was leaning on a hatch combing, smoking a pipe. The bosun lounged on the foredeck, waiting to pick up a line from the wharf. And the captain? Well, he was engaged in the most unusual occupation.
Keep moving.
He was sitting at a table on the foredeck, handing out silver dollars to them blinking coolies. All divided up even, the same amount to each one. Craziest thing you ever heard of in your life. You see, the way the captain figured it, since those blighters had all worked for 2 years at the same rate of pay, then their savings ought to all be about equal. As you can see, of course, that wasn't necessarily true by any means. Wasn't even legal. But you couldn't tell him anything.
Well, stop. Mr. Jukes.
Yes, sir. Coming, Captain.
Well, Mr. Jukes, I've disposed of our little collection of silver dollars.
Ah, that's great. Only wait till those boys get ashore and file claims against us.
Oh, no, they won't do that. As a matter of fact, they were quite pleased at having it arranged that way. Figured it might avoid a lot of arguments later. They sent a spokesman to thank me.
Well, I'll be...
Mr. Jukes, you may as well give all the hands 6 hours leave before we start working the cargo.
Whatever you say, Captain.
Oh, yes, and before the carpenter leaves, I wish you'd have him fix the lock on that port cabin door.
What?
That seems to have got broken somehow. During the storm, I suppose. I can't stand to hear a door banging, Mr. Jukes.
Aye, sir. I don't suppose it matters that the ship is battered from stem to stern, half her topside carried away, and smashed till she looks like a bloomin' Tinson freighter.
Mr. Jukes, I don't understand you.
You don't understand me, sir? Do you understand that we've come through the worst typhoon on the China Seas in 20 years? We're the only ship that got through?
It's true. I suppose we were a bit lucky.
Lucky, sir? With 200 murdering cutthroats running loose aboard and the very heavens doing their worst?
We had a job to do, and we did it. That's all, Mr. Jukes. That's the important thing.
Yes, sir. That's all. That's all, he says. A job to do. A bit lucky. What can you do with a man as thick as that? But then, as I started to turn away, Captain McWhirr said something else that surprised me. With emotion wrung from the very bottom of his soul, he uttered words I never thought I'd hear coming from so stupid a man.
But I'm glad we brought her through, Mr. Jukes. Truly I am. She's a good ship, Mr. Jukes. A good ship. I should have hated to lose her. I should have hated to lose her.
Typhoon by Joseph Conrad was adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield and produced and directed by William N. Robeson, with Frank Lovejoy as Jukes, Raymond Lawrence as Captain McWhirr, and Cy Kendall as Ralph the Engineer. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Fewer. Escape is presented by the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape to Paris of 500 years ago in Robert Louis Stevenson's story of a fascinating adventure, the Sire de Maltroits d'Or. And so good night until next week at this time, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Escape tonight to Paris of 500 years ago.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the fifth, is The Sire de Maltroits d'Or by Robert Louis Stevenson, produced and directed by William N. Robeson. The pen of Robert Louis Stevenson has been an avenue of escape for 3 generations. Our grandparents thrilled to the macabre metamorphosis of Dr. Jekyll, just as we will never forget the nursery menace called Long John Silver. Tonight we escape with Robert Louis Stevenson down another avenue, which leads to Paris in 1429, and the amazing adventure of
The Sire de Maltroits door.
Dark of the Moon, 1429, Paris. The House of Burgundy holds the throne of France, and English men-at-arms patrol the narrow streets. Troublous times for any man to be lost, on foot, at night. You there! Over here, by the wall.
What's this? Now the shadows themselves are speaking.
I'm no shadow.
A real live human being.
I've managed to get myself lost in these confounded alleys. Can you tell me where I am?
Well, now, a fine young cavalier, no less. And he's lost.
I'm trying to find the Beaucent Inn. Will this street lead me there?
That one street is as good as another, and none of them will ever lead a man anywhere.
Oh, come now. You must know something about this part of Paris. Think, man, a patrol may pass at any moment.
You're wanted, then.
I have a safe conduct pass from the captain of the garrison.
Safe conduct, he says. And to find what a good that'll do you here in the dark of the night.
Well, you're certainly not helping my chances any.
No, lad. The only safe conduct you have is that sword swinging at your side.
Wait, quiet. A patrol. They're coming this way.
I'm inclined to think you're right.
I've got to run for it. Tell them nothing.
When I should tell what to whom.
Wait, halt! Someone's there. Speak up. Who are you?
Speak up, is it? And you a blundering pack of two-day grenadiers that walk like a herd of cattle such as me? Speak up. That served with the mad Prince Charlie himself. May he rest in peace.
An old campaigner, eh? Where you from, soldier?
Fontainebleau, from a smarter outfit in bivouac than the likes of you in quarters.
A bit in the scuffs, huh, man? Seen anybody about, old-timer?
Naught but shadows and tankards of ale. Fine French cavalier who departed hence without a bio-lead just now.
Where'd he go?
Oh, who knows? Perhaps he went one way, maybe the other. Though I think it was the other there.
All right, men. French cavalier, eh? We'll have him like a fowl in a spit. Spread out, cover the streets. Keep an eye out. Don't let him slip away between you. Forward now. Search every corner.
Oh, the fool. The drunken fool. I'm for it now, all right. This cross street. There's a bare chance they'll pass it by. If I can only get through here. Oh, no. It's a dead end, unless this leads... No, it's only the door to a house. Caught like a rat in a trap. All right. If it's so written, then so be it. With a bit of luck, there'll be 2 or 3 go with me. Huh? The door. It's unlocked. I can push it open. Black as the mouth of hell inside. Well, what have I got to lose?
Look alive now. You have to be here someplace. Here, not that door, you jealous. Can't you see the press above it?
Not here. He's gone.
That he has. Didn't come in here after all. All right, back to the corner. He's a sly one for sure.
That was close. Too close. Now to get out of here and no one in the house will ever be the wiser. Huh? What's this? The door's locked. Well, it's a trap. But why? Why would such a thing be done? I came in here by chance, 1 chance against 1,000,000. Wait. It's a light. Somewhere inside the house. Well, by all rights, I should be dead at this moment. So...
Come in, young man. I've been expecting you all evening.
I've
fear you must be mistaken, sir. My visit is quite unexpected for both of us.
That's good. That's very good. For the both of us, you say. Well, no matter. You're here. That's the main point. Take a seat, my boy. Put yourself at ease. We'll arrange our little affairs presently.
There seems to be some misunderstanding. You see, your door was standing...
Oh, the door. Ah, that was a little piece of ingenuity. Don't you agree?
So you must know that I had no intention of intruding without an invitation.
Without an invitation, is it? Well, we old people are used to such reluctance. When it touches our honor, we cast about until we find some way of overcoming it. And so, my boy, invitation or not, you are, believe me, most welcome.
I hope you'll pardon my saying it, but I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about.
Oh, so that's it. Dead to rights, but still pretending, eh? Ah, you're a clever rogue.
Sir,
right.
My name is Denis de Beaulieu. I am not a guest in your house by my own choice, and I am not accustomed to being...
Nor is the house of Maltroits accustomed to certain things, of which you well know.
Maltroits? I should have expected better treatment at the hands of one of the most honored families of France.
Honored indeed, until you, Monsieur de Beaulieu, took it upon yourself to dishonor us.
Sire de Maltroits, I have attempted to explain that I took a stand before your door to fight off a patrol which I'd encountered in the street. I assure you I had no slight intention of forcing myself Since it seems impossible for you to converse with any degree of reason, may I bid you good night? Sir, if you have your right wits, then you're insulting me grossly. And if not, I have no desire to spend further time with a lunatic.
You young fool. Thinking to get away so easily.
No power on earth can make me stay here any longer, even if I'm forced to hack that door of yours to pieces.
Ay me. And now, will you please sit down, my dear nephew?
Nephew? You lie in your teeth.
I said sit down. You think for a minute that I made a little contrivance for the door and stopped short with that? If you want to be bound hand and foot until your bones crack inside of you, then get up. Try to get away. But if you'd rather stay a free young buck, agreeably conversing with an old gentleman, sit where you are in peace.
You mean, then, I'm a prisoner here?
I stated the facts. Draw your own conclusions. Ah, Père François, come in, come in.
Thank you, Messiah.
Tell me, how is she? A little better frame of mind, I hope?
She is more resigned, at least, Messiah.
Well, now, isn't she hard to please? A likely stripling such as this, well-born, and her own choice. What more would the jade wolf have,
If you'll pardon, the situation is not usual for a young damsel. It is somewhat trying to her blushes.
Trying, is it? Ha! She should have thought of that before the dance began. She called the turns, and now she'll do the pay.
At the risk of being presumptuous, may I ask who she is?
Ha! You hear that, Père François? Monsieur de Beaulieu wishes to know who she is.
I heard, Messiah.
I am pleased that you find my most casual remark so amusing.
So, you'd like to know who she is. Very well. After all, you really should know, young fella. It's only fitting for you to be introduced properly. Come along, come along. I'll take you into she, all right. Why, that's the reason I planned the whole thing. You stubborn young scoundrelly blackguard. Come along, my boy. Right through this door.
After you, sir, if you don't mind.
Oh, no. It's not that kind of a trap. Here we are. How are you, my dear?
Oh, please, Uncle. Please have some pity on me.
Pity? But I do a great deal more than you've shown for the name of Maltroits. Come now, up off your knees and look at the friend I brought you. It's good to be devout, but it is also necessary to be polite.
I have no understanding how you can be so vicious.
Oh, that's very unkind. And now, Monsieur de Beaulieu, since we've decided to keep up this farce, allow me to present my niece, Blanche de Maltroits.
It's such an inhuman thing, surely heaven itself. He's not the man. My uncle, this is not the man.
Expected you to say as much, my dear. Is it so unfortunate you couldn't remember his name?
It's true. I swear by the Blessed Virgin, I do not know this man. Never laid eyes on him before. Please, sir, tell him. Tell him we've never seen each other before.
For myself, at any rate, I've never had that pleasure. Sire, I've not met your lovely niece before this moment.
Oh, now isn't that too bad? But it's never too late to begin. Quite often these impromptu marriages turn out very well in the end.
Marriage? Sire de Maltroits, would you please be kind enough to explain what you mean?
Aha, now, surely you've heard of the custom of marriage. It's quite widely practiced.
At least, sir, I've never heard before of such a maniac as I perceive you to be. And I've no intention of marrying anyone.
Then may I ask what were your intentions, my boy? Oh, well, no matter now. Père Francois is looking forward to performing the nuptial rites. Oh, he's quite properly ordained, you know. So, shall we say, in 2 hours? Meanwhile, I suggest you become better acquainted.
Wait! Uncle, you can't be in earnest. I swear to you I'll kill myself before I'll be forced on this young man.
Forced? Now, come now, my dear Blanche.
Is it possible that you think I'm lying? That you still believe this is the man?
Frankly, I do.
Well, then you're wrong.
I refuse utterly even to consider...
Enough, my dear. You took it upon yourself to dishonor the name of our family. You forfeited all right whatsoever to question my designs. I consider it a duty to see that you're married with as little delay as possible. Out of the goodness of my heart, I've attempted to find the man of your choice. And I believe I've done so. But if not, then I care not one jackstraw. Is that perfectly clear?
It's clear, sir, that you're a madman.
Perhaps, my dear nephew.
I'm not your nephew, nor will I be.
I'd sooner die 1,000 times.
Oh, such a fury against the inevitable. At any rate, you have 2 hours to compose your differences. Père Francois, bring the clock.
Very well, Messiah.
Thank you. Place it there. This, Monsieur de Beaulieu, is another of my little contrivances, and one that is hardly less ingenious than my door.
Messiah, your accomplishments are of no interest to me whatsoever.
Oh, I think you'll find this one most interesting. You will notice that the upper container is filled with water. In exactly 2 hours, all of the water will have dripped into the lower vessel, and at that time, I shall return. Remove the plug, Père Francois. Clever, isn't it? Well, genius is so rarely appreciated. And now I'm quite sure you'll sooner carry on your interview without an audience.
You'd never met my uncle before? You didn't arrange this with you?
I've never laid eyes on him. And certainly nothing was arranged with me, else I wouldn't be here.
Oh, then you're as much an unfortunate victim as myself.
But you at least must be more aware of the circumstances. I can understand none of this.
It's not an easy thing for a girl to tell. Whatever you may think of me now, I fear you shall think the worse when I've finished.
Words are but words. But your manner encourages respect.
Thank you, monsieur. I've lived all my life with my uncle, and I've not been happy. 3 months ago, a young captain of the guard began to stand near me in the church. Oh, you must understand. I gave him no encouragement to do so.
Oh, quite so, I understand. He was handsome, of course.
As a matter of fact, very. After a while, he began to pass me notes. He found me pleasing, wanted to meet me, and seemed most interested in me for some reason.
I can believe that.
This morning, he passed me a note urging me to leave the outer door open tonight so that he could speak a few words with me on the stairs. Oh, this is most difficult for me to tell, monsieur. I'm sure he meant no harm. I've no idea how my uncle came to suspect. Sometimes his shrewdness becomes almost diabolic. After church, he took that note from my hand, read it, gave it back to me. I've been kept in my room all day, knowing nothing of what he might be planning.
So that's it. By pure accident, I blundered into a trap set for someone else.
Had my uncle brought the captain himself, the thing still would have been confusing. How should I know that he may not have been trifling with me all along? But to be forced into a situation with you, a perfect stranger...
Your regard for me is quite clear, mademoiselle. I regret appearing as a disappointment to you. I believe you said he was very handsome?
If that were all.
There's more?
I mean, monsieur, that you yourself are quite handsome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so... Oh, no, it's really no use.
Well, please understand me. I'm not urging you in any way.
Urging, monsieur?
I'm accustomed to meeting young ladies upon occasion who are quite ready to accept me as something besides a convenient substitute for some handsome captain of the guard.
I've no doubt of it, monsieur. And to correct a mistaken impression you seem to have, I'm well aware that you're doing no urging. And were you to do so, I should neither listen to nor give it any consideration whatsoever. It's well that we both understand one another.
Quite so. And that being the case, Mademoiselle de Maltroits, I wonder if you'll be good enough to conduct me to your uncle.
With the greatest of pleasure, monsieur.
I've no doubt but what this little matter can be settled very quickly, and with as much honor as possible to everybody concerned.
The full 2 hours weren't necessary. Already harmonious accord rises triumphant.
On the contrary side, de Maltroits, your assumption is entirely false.
Oh, what a pity. Well, Père Francois, there's nothing to it. We'll simply have to wait a while longer.
As you say, Messiah.
I fear it may be much longer than you think. In fact, forever.
That's a very long time indeed. And you, my dear niece, what are your sentiments in the matter?
I will not marry this man. Do what you may, uncle, I will not marry him.
Right back where we started. Can it be that our young friend is lacking in perception, Père Francois?
It is possible, Messiah.
I'm not at any rate lacking in a sense of honorable conduct. Dragged in here against my will, I've addressed your niece in the manner of a gentleman. I found her charming, lovely, delightful.
Monsieur.
But now I have the honor of declining your offer of her hand. Let that end the matter.
It's not as simple as that. Take a look from my window there, and tell me what you see on the wall beneath it.
What do you mean?
See for yourself.
Whatever it is can have no bearing on the matter. There's an iron ring set in the wall.
Quite so, and fastened to the ring?
A rope.
Right. So we have two elements. And to complete our little diagram, we need a third one. That element is, at the moment, firmly attached to your body. I'm referring, sir, to your neck.
Uncle, no.
And may I inquire the purpose of the dogs there in the courtyard below? Are they also a part of your devilish plans?
My dear young man, a body doesn't hang in ropes forever, you know.
You maniac. Even murder doesn't stop you.
Ooh, that's such a nasty word. Let us confine ourselves to the bald facts. At the end of your 2 hours, you will prepare yourself either to marry my niece or to kick out your life while you swing at the end of that rope. There's no other alternative.
I think there's one. Between gentlemen, at any rate. Arm yourself, sir.
You fool. You think for a moment that if I'd regarded your sword as a threat, you'd still be wearing it? Père Francois, will you open that door to the passage, please?
Of course, Messiah. I'll be most happy to.
Gentlemen, show this rash young buck the color of your steel. Whether he likes to admit it or not, Monsieur de Beaulieu, one day a man grows too old to fight his own battles and must hire others to do it for him. Close the door, Père Francois.
Then you'll not fight?
Do I seem a fool? There'll be no fighting and no haughty refusal to marry my niece. You found her charming, well and good. But I'll tell you this. Were she as common as the Paris road, more hideous than the gargoyle over my door, you'd not spurn the hand of a Maltroits and ever live to tell of it. Alive and married you'll be, or dead and hanging from that window, and soon after, food for the dogs. It's one or the other. So, make up your mind.
Monsieur de Beaulieu, why do you not sit down?
Your concern is most gratifying, mademoiselle. Since I have such a short time to live, I doubt that I'll grow very tired.
If the time be short, then why do we waste it in formal speech?
As you will. Listen to him. Drip, drip, drip. That devilish clock, like an artery opened and life's blood itself dripping away.
Oh, I sat here and thought until my whole mind's in a great whirl.
Please, you really shouldn't trouble yourself so much.
I can't bear to have you slain for my sake. Monsieur de Beaulieu, I will marry you gladly.
You must think, then, that I stand very much in fear of death.
Oh, no. I've had reason to see that you're no coward.
I've asked for no pity. If the thing has to be, then that's the end of it.
Oh, sir, you misunderstood me. Why, the great nobility with which you faced my uncle should have removed all question about your bravery had such doubts existed.
That is most kind of you to say so.
Not, of course, that anyone could raise such questions once they've seen you.
Death's another incident. That's all.
Oh, but life's a better one. You'll agree, then?
I'm afraid you underrate the difficulty. What your generosity offers me, my pride prevents accepting. In this moment of noble feeling toward me, aren't you forgetting what you already owe to someone else?
Monsieur, he never really mattered.
Mademoiselle, my very life's the forfeit here. One I'll pay gladly if it be of service to a lady, but to tell me it's for something that never really mattered.
Please don't be so cruel.
Cruel, you forget. I'm the one who's going to die, not you.
I've not forgotten, monsieur.
Yes. You'll enjoy tomorrow's sun like any other days. And tomorrow night, perhaps you'll see him again. And of course, I'll be forgotten.
Oh, no, never.
But it's all a man can expect when he's born into the world, death at last. And some piece of ironic misfortune.
Oh, don't say this. I can't bear it.
Oh, if I've said anything to wound you, I'm sorry. It was for your own sake, not mine.
Thank you.
Please. It's a bitter thing, my dear, to see you in such distress that giving my life itself for you can't help it.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be braver. Is there no way at all in which I can serve you? Either now or afterwards?
Only by letting me think of you as a friend for the brief time that's left to us. By forgetting for the moment that I'm an awkward intruder thrown here by circumstance. That's all.
And afterwards?
What does it matter? The closer you come to it, the clearer you see that death's no more than a dark and dusty corner where a man climbs into his tomb and shuts the door after him.
Oh, monsieur.
I've only a few friends now. And once I'm dead, I've no doubt that I'll have none.
You forget Blanche de Maltroits.
You're very sweet. Any young man in France would be glad to trade places with me and die for you. You value the small service I do you far beyond its worth.
I'll not have you thinking so meanly of yourself. Look at me. Would you say that I am beautiful?
I think the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
I'm glad of that. Tell me, is there a man in France who can say he's been asked in marriage by a beautiful maiden, asked from her own lips and refused her to her face?
Oh, no.
I know you're a man and half despise such a triumph. But any woman knows more of what's precious in love.
But remember, you asked me out of the pity of your heart, not for love.
Are you so sure of that? Must I bear my very soul like a merchant showcase?
You're very good. As good as you're beautiful. I'll not forget it for the time that's left me.
Very well. I, too, have a pride of my own. you'd turn back now from your word, I'd no more marry you than I would any stranger off the street.
It's a small love that shies at a little pride. The dawn's starting to break.
Yes. My uncle and his men will come here any moment. What shall we say to him?
Anything you will.
Oh. All of my life I'll weep for you. And weep the more because it was you.
If I'm wrong, it's a great price I'm paying for it. One I'd not pay if I didn't care for you so dearly.
Careful. Oh, no, it's you who are being kind.
It was in the moment your uncle brought me into you and you raised your face to look at me. That's when I knew.
Oh, strange. For it was then I felt it too.
You've seen already that I'm not afraid to die.
Oh, you're not. I know it.
Blanche, is it really true, not something born of pity?
I swear by all that's holy. I love you, Denny.
Oh, my beloved. And I can tell you now that I love you, too.
Even after all you've heard.
I can remember none of it.
The captain's
No
name.
matter. I love you.
Oh, my darling.
I love you more than my life and my soul. Blanche,
I love you.
I love you, Blanche.
Well.
Uncle.
Well. It's most gratifying to see this little matter settle in such a congenial fashion. Good morning, my dear nephew.
I have nothing to say to you, sir. You're a vicious and unprincipled old man.
Oh, that's most ungracious of you. No. At the very worst, I'm no more than a very wise old man. One who's lived a long time and seen a great many remarkable things. An old man who's learned all about such mysteries as the love of life and love.
The Sire de Maltroits Door by Robert Louis Stevenson was adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield and produced and directed by William N. Robeson, with Elliot Lewis as Denis, Peggy Weber as Blanche, and Ramsey Hill as the Sire de Maltroits. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Fewer. Escape is presented by the Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape to Egypt of 3,500 years ago with Arthur Conan Doyle's fascinating tale of the Ring of Thoth. And so good night until next week at this time, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Tonight to ancient Egypt.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the sixth, is The Ring of Thoth by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Wherever the English language is spoken, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is known for two things: his immortal character Sherlock Holmes and his unshakable belief in life beyond the grave. So great is the stature of Sherlock Holmes that Conan Doyle's earlier stories are all but forgotten. Stories like The Ring of Thoth, which so clearly anticipates the author's later fascination with spiritualism. We invite you now to escape to ancient Egypt and The Ring of Thoth, an adventure told in the words of John Vansittart Smith, British Egyptologist.
I arrived in Paris on the 3:14 express from Dieppe and went immediately to my hotel in the Rue de Lafitte. My actions so far had worked out according to my planned schedule. I slept for exactly 2 hours, got up and dressed, donned a greatcoat, walked down the Avenue de l'Opéra, and entered a side door of the Louvre. Once inside, and amid surroundings entirely familiar to me, I made my way immediately to the chamber of Egyptian relics, or more specifically, to the cabinet in that chamber which contained the El Kab collection of papyri. Drawing out the particular roll I wished, I placed it on a nearby table, sat down, began to study it, when I noticed one of the museum attendants who was polishing some brasswork across the room. His face struck me as being curiously Egyptian. On sudden impulse, I decided to cross the room and speak to him. Approaching closer, I was impressed at once by the appearance of his skin. Drawn tautly across temple and cheek, it seemed as glazed and as shiny as varnished parchment, and out of narrowed slits there glowed two green and vitreous eyes, misty with a dry shininess, eyes of a kind never seen in a human head before. I beg your pardon. I need one of the papyri from the Memphis collection. Could you tell me where it is?
You'll find it in the last cabinet at the end of the room, monsieur.
Thank you. You're Egyptian, aren't you?
No, monsieur. I am a Frenchman.
But, I thought perhaps...
If monsieur will excuse me now, I have other work to do.
I went back to the table and took up the papyrus I had been studying before. But my former calmness in translating the intricate hieroglyphics was gone, and out of the depths of my mind welled a feeling of terrible familiarity. I concentrated more deeply on my studies, pushing aside those thoughts conducive to mental turmoil, and at last, worn out by the inward struggle, I fell asleep. I awoke with a start, not remembering where I was. It was quite dark for a moment. Then gradually my eyes focused on the glints of moonlight reflected from the glass tops of specimen tables, from the shiny varnish of the mummy cases. And I realized with a feeling of sudden dread that I was alone in the Egyptian room of the Museum of the Louvre, locked in for the night. And I saw at that moment, approaching through the moonlit halls, a dim yellow flame. Nearer and nearer it came until I could perceive above it, as though floating in the air, the eerie, glistening face of the man I'd spoken to earlier. I shrank into the dark shadow of my corner, and he passed without seeing me, stopping before the mummy cases a few yards away. Scarcely daring to breathe, I watched him place the light on a table and begin feverishly to examine the tags on the specimens. In a moment, he gave a cry of delight, and, drawing one of the mummies from its resting place, laid it on the table in the full glow of the lantern and set to work. He was unwinding the wrappings from the head of the corpse. A few turns revealed a tumbled cascade of black curls. A few more, the snow-white brow, then the delicate nostrils, and at last, the full, warm, passionate lips, the face of the most beautiful woman the world has ever seen.
Ma pauvre petite, so long it has been, so very long. You must forgive me, beloved.
I could hardly believe my eyes. The man was obviously in love with this mummy. After a while, he left the body, turning his attention to one of the glass cases filled with an assortment of rings. From a pocket of his garment, he'd taken a small glass bottle containing some kind of liquid, and he used this now to test the rings, rejecting them one after another. Then, at last...
This is it. It's the one. At last I found it. The ring of Thoth.
In his excitement, he dropped the bottle, and I gasped in surprise at the sudden sound.
Who's there?
I beg your pardon.
Oh. So it is you. No, do not move.
I didn't mean to spy on you. I fell asleep.
Who are you, monsieur?
I am John Vansittart Smith, a student of Egyptology.
No matter. You will observe this knife.
Yes?
Had I discovered you 5 minutes ago, monsieur, I should have slain you without a word.
What?
As it is now, I have found the ring. But I warn you not to interfere with me in any way.
I really haven't the slightest intention of it. After all, I'm only here by accident.
Perhaps.
I say, you shouldn't have unwrapped that mummy, you know. It's starting to deteriorate already.
Oh, my beloved.
Yes, before our eyes, the lovely face was crumbling, the hair falling away, the skin shriveling and cracking, the lips fading. The man hovered over the decaying body a moment, murmuring sorrowfully. And then he turned again.
No matter. That will not make the least difference in a little while. Of what importance is the dead shell, so long as her spirit waits for me at the other side of the veil?
What are you talking about? What is it you're proposing to do?
Tonight, monsieur, I have ended a quest and broken at last the ancient curse. Nothing now can prevent my joining her.
Are you actually claiming that you knew her?
She was Atma, daughter of the governor of Abaris, and both she and I lived in the reign of Thutmosis 3,500 years ago.
You're obviously mad.
Perhaps, but not in the way you think. There may be design in this, your coming here. It may be decreed that I should leave some account behind as a warning to other mortals as rash as myself. Very well, then. So be it. I am, as you surmised, an Egyptian. My name was Sasra, and my father had been the chief priest of Osiris in the great temple of Abaris, which stood in those days upon the Bubastic branch of the Nile. I was brought up in the temple and was trained in all those mystic arts and sciences known to the priesthood. Of all the mysteries that I studied, none intrigued me more than the question of life and death. And even to this question, in time, I found an answer.
But for a man to live beyond his allotted span of years, Master Sastra, the gods have not so ordained it.
Then perhaps they will have to revise their ordinances now that I've discovered their secret.
'Tis not well to jest. I tremble, for though I've labored in your service for a year, I knew not the goal of your endeavors. May Osiris forgive me.
Ah, what a pity you look upon it this way. For I'd thought that in return for your assistance, I should grant you, too, the gift of centuries of indestructible life.
I would not have it, Master Sastra, and I beg that you, too, forgo it.
Forgo it? I introduced the fluid into my veins 1 month ago.
Oh, no. Then you are lost indeed.
Lost? Do you call this being lost? Let's see now. My heart should be about here.
Oh, that knife. No, don't. Master, you've killed yourself.
Not at all. See? It bleeds a little. But in a while, the wound will close up. And that's all.
It's immortality.
No, I shall not live forever. But for 5,000, perhaps 6,000 years, I shall be immune from all dangers of violence, poison, disease, starvation.
You cannot die?
Now, with this fluid in my veins, nothing in this world can end my life.
Sasra, are you there?
Someone called.
It's Parmes, the priest of Thoth. In here, my friend. Enter.
Oh. Greetings, Sasra, master of sciences, and his worthy assistant.
If you will excuse me, masters, I go to make my peace with Osiris.
What's wrong with your helper, Sasra?
The thought of a well-nigh eternal life has frightened him into gibbering superstition.
Then you still believe in the discovery?
Believe in it? Parmes, my friend. Look.
By the heavens, what a scar.
It pierces the heart. It was done only a moment ago.
with this knife. See? I can put it back in the wound. So.
You suffered no ill effects?
None whatever.
And if I turned the knife in the wound, that would do you no harm?
You may try it. I feel nothing. I walked last week in the snake pits by the river, was struck innumerable times. It caused no harm.
By the great Anubis.
Will you have it then? Out of all Egypt, I have chosen only you, my friend, to share the gift. But the choice is yours.
I'd be a fool to refuse, Sasra. I'll have it. And now, what must I do?
First, we must open a vein in your wrist, like this. Then, we drip the elixir slowly into your bloodstream. Steady now.
I don't feel anything.
There is no sensation. It is done.
So simple? There is nothing more?
That's all. And now done, it can never be changed.
It seems incredible, supernatural.
It's no more than a chemical discovery, but with it, while all this about us passes away, you and I, Parmes, will live on for 50 centuries. Think of it, my friend. 5,000 years of life.
5,000 years. Only the two of us.
Listen, that noise. Some procession must be passing in the street.
I have an idea what it may be. Come on over to the window.
Beloved of heaven, clear the road, stand back, and make way for the loveliest pearl of Thebes.
She's being carried on the shoulders of slaves, Parmes. She must be some woman of rank.
Her name is Atma. She's the daughter of the new governor.
The curtains are drawn back. Perhaps we'll have a look at her. Oh, Parmes.
Is she not beautiful?
She is the most desirable, the only utterly desirable woman I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, I saw her yesterday at the temple.
Then you're most fortunate, my friend. You've had 24 more hours to dream about her than I have had. I must know her, Parmes. I must make her love me. I'll send gifts. I'll call on her tomorrow. Oh, it has to be then. I couldn't wait any longer than tomorrow.
A visitor calls upon the beloved of the universe. He is Sasra, priest of the temple of Osiris.
Well, bid him approach.
Enter, Sasra.
Oh, most beautiful of all Egypt, I cast myself at your feet.
That's a noble ambition. But wouldn't it be much better to sit here beside me and watch the fish in the fountain?
Much better.
You will all withdraw, except you, my girl. Play something for us, at a distance. Well, Sasra, for so I understand you're called, am I to deem this an official visit by a master of the temple?
Oh, Atma, my beloved. That is, no, it is not official.
Oh? Perhaps then you wish to see my father on personal business of your own.
Oh, no. No. I shall pay my respects to him at some other time.
Then could it be I you've come to see?
Yes.
And since you've said the visit's not official, your reason must be a personal one.
Oh, it is.
Well, what is it?
Atma, I have known women who are famed for their beauty throughout the valley of the Nile. But not one, not all of them, are so lovely as you.
How thoughtful of you to come here and tell me.
Atma, I've no wish to intrude my desires, my hopes, beyond such extent as you may wish to hear. But, I'm finding this very difficult.
Sasra, I've been told that you're a master of science, that you've unlocked the secrets of the universe, learned all the mysteries of nature itself.
Your informants have been most generous.
Yes, I'm inclined to think so.
Why?
Because you've discovered nothing at all about such a simple thing as a woman's heart.
What do you mean?
I come from Thebes. And the women of Thebes are warm-blooded, passionate, and we know what we want.
Atma.
I saw you first 3 days ago. Why do you think I told my bearers to carry me down that street beneath your window?
And so, miracle of all miracles, Atma loved me. Worshipping the very ground her feet had trod upon, I lived through those glorious weeks, and with it all, our love grew apace. But one thing bore heavily upon my mind, and I came to speak of it more often to my beloved as we sat and talked by the fountain in her garden.
Look, Sasra. See how the stars shine from the water?
Yes, Atma. More lovely even than their glow in the heavens.
Are they very old, the stars?
Very old, beloved. As old as time.
And they'll go on gleaming there, long years after you and I are gone and forgotten.
Atma, my dearest, we've talked of this before, and I know it distresses you to think of it.
No, Sasra. Tonight everything is beautiful. We shall not talk of death.
Not of death, but of life. They're only counterparts of one another.
Oh, if we could only live together. Grow old together and die in the same instant.
But how much better to live and love 5,000 years. Will you not do it? Does so long a time seem too great for the love you feel for me?
Beloved, no. The time would pass in an instant, and the loss then be no easier borne than now.
Then why draw back? Will you not take the elixir now, tonight?
I'm afraid, Sasra. We'll anger the gods.
We will outlive the gods.
They will have their revenge.
Whatever occurred, we'd be together.
Yes, I've thought of that. Were it not so, I'd not even consider doing it.
Then you'll do it. Atma, you'll do it.
I need more time, only a little more to assure myself.
How much?
Tonight, Sasra. Give me tonight.
Every hour you live without the elixir is another hazard. All right, then. Tonight. And may Isis herself guard over you until the fluid courses in your veins. And so, on that accursed night, I went to my chambers and slept. And while I slept, the moon of Isis shone over the delta of the Nile. Shone but to light as foul a scene as was ever done on earth. Some hours had passed away.
Master Sasra, awaken! Master, awaken at once.
You know, who is it?
Oh, what a terrible thing has
Let me turn
transpired
up
this
the lamp.
night.
You're one of Atma's slaves. Why do you come here?
Oh, Master, Master.
What has happened? What's the matter? Speak.
It is she, the light of the world.
Tell me what has happened to her.
Master. Brigands came in the night. She is dead.
You lie. You lie.
Oh, Sasra, the slave speaks the truth.
Parmes, my friend. What foul joke's behind these words of his?
It's not a joke. Atma is dead. You, slave, depart from us.
Yes, Master. By your gracious leave, I depart.
Such a thing cannot be. Oh, of course. The two of you planned it together, sought to frighten me out of my wits. It's very amusing, really. But I was terrified for a moment.
Atma no longer lives. She was stabbed to death only a short while ago.
No. Oh, no. She can't be dead.
She is dead, Sosra, and for all eternity.
I must go to her. Surely something can be done.
I killed her.
What is it? What has happened?
I killed her. Oh. I struck her through the heart with this very knife.
You, Parmes. Why?
Because she loved you.
Why?
And because I loved her.
You, my friend.
She would not look at me.
And for that you would lose her to both of us forever?
To both of us, Sosra? I think not.
By the living Osiris, give me that knife.
That's it. Strike. Again. Here's the heart. Here, strike. Again and again, Sosra.
Wait. What foolishness. I cannot kill you.
You're wrong, Sosra. You have killed me. Those were grievous blows.
But the fluid, That cursed elixir of life, it runs in your veins as well as mine.
True. But in mine is also the antidote.
You lie. There is no antidote.
Yes, day and night. These many weeks I've worked, and I found it.
You couldn't have. Is there more of it?
Yes, a very little. But you'll never find it.
Where is it? Tell me where it is.
In the ring, Sire. In the ring of Thoth. And you'll never find it.
I will. I must.
Go on. Live your 50 centuries. And every hour of them, think. It was your hand that struck me down. With the same knife that took her from you. Think while I go to join her.
Oh, no. You're not dead. You're not! No! 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 For months, I searched the papers, test tubes, and the chemical flasks in the chambers of the dead priest of Thoth. Searched and found nothing. I sifted the sands where he'd walked, questioned his slaves and servants, and learned nothing. Every moment of my life, my terrible and unwanted life, was devoted to an unceasing hunt for the ring of Thoth, and all to no avail. And in time, a horde of barbarians overran the city of Abaris. And the sands of the desert buried forever the last of my hopes. And so began the deadly march of the centuries. How can you know how terrible a thing time is? You, who've experienced only the narrow course between the cradle and the grave. I've floated down the whole stream of history. I have traveled in all lands, and I have dwelt with all nations. Every tongue is the same to me. I need not tell you how slowly the centuries drifted by. Centuries without end. Years without number. And so, I came to be one day, a few weeks past, in San Francisco, where I came across a certain item in a newspaper.
Among recent discoveries in Lower Egypt is an unopened mummy case containing, according to the inscription on the outside, the body of the daughter of the governor of Abaris in the days of Thutmosis. In the same burial crypt, dropped into a crevice between the stones, was found a large platinum ring of singular design. Both specimens have been sent for examination to the Louvre in Paris.
So, I presume you came here to Paris, obtained this position of attendant in the Louvre with the idea of...
Only yesterday, Monsieur Smith. As you may imagine, I had little difficulty in convincing the director of my knowledge of Egyptian relics.
The ring, then. The one I saw you remove from the case is the ring of Thoth?
Without question.
You've discovered how the ring must be used?
The secret is obvious. See, the stone is hollow, and drops of liquid move within it.
Have you considered the possibility that